mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mrs. E. Mrs. E.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am Mr. E. I'm joined tonight by Mrs. E, and we do not have a guest tonight, actually. Auntie had tickets for another event, and so she is doing that tonight. So she will not be joining us. So it's just going to be the two of us. It's been a little while since we've done it that way, with no guests and no one extra. So we're excited to do this tonight. I think we've got a great topic and an approach to this story. I just want to say hello to everyone. Want to hi there, Lady Tit for Tat and K-Mac. I saw you in here. So thank you to our mods for hopping in. Oh, Marlena's here too?
Yeah.
Hi, Marlena. Thank you for being here with us again tonight. And of course, lots of familiar faces. SS Butterfly Kisses, Opinionated. Got Donna K, Sonia.
Rosebud.
Rosebud is in here.
Lisa B. Always.
Purple World, of course.
Did you say Grandma Chachi?
I saw her. Yes, there's Grandma Chachi also.
And did you say hi to Sonia?
I think I did.
Okay, good. And Car Guy and Mrs. Car Guy.
Yeah. So great. Well,
let's see. I'm just trying to say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kim G, welcome. Let's see. Cherise, welcome. Shining Star.
God, we've talked to you a couple of times. So good to see you back here.
Good Measure, welcome. Just kind of going through everybody.
Yeah.
Minnie. Let's see. Random the Dime. That's a great name.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome. Sorry, you guys. I'm not good at this stuff. So
yeah, so this is going to be strange, the two of us doing this.
I know.
So this will be different for us. But before we kind of get into everything, I do want to just make sure a few people we want to be praying about. Of course, we've got the hurricane going on right now, and not far from us in East Tennessee and North Carolina, there's several dams that are having some trouble. And people of Newport and Chimney, what was the name of the Chimney? I don't remember the town, but there's a few areas over in that part of the country that are having trouble with flooding, and like they're evacuating the towns over there. So we want to make sure we keep all of them in our prayers, and of course all the people on the coast, and hopefully people will stay safe and listen to authorities and evacuate when they're told to. Yeah. I know some people stick it out and worry about their homes and everything else, and hopefully they'll be safe also. So we'll be thinking about all those people. And then also want to continue prayers for Peter Hyatt. I don't know if you don't follow our community page, you may not know this, but Peter Hyatt, who's a statement analysis expert, someone we've referenced a number of times on our show. He's a brilliant man, very gentle soul. He has stage 4 cancer at the moment, and so we had noticed that he hadn't been on his channel for over a month, posting on YouTube, and so we'd kind of been talking and wondering what was going on there, and we actually had thought maybe he's been contracted to work on a case or something, and we thought maybe that's why he'd been quiet, and then we heard that news, and so we're absolutely keeping him in our prayers. He's actually still active on his X account. somewhat. And even though I think he mentioned something like he can't even speak, but he was still able to type and was making some observations about people he'd seen in the waiting rooms and the ER. And it was, it's like he's still kind of working in his way, even as ill as he is. But he seems to be in good spirits and optimistic. But he's got a tough battle for him, so we definitely want to keep him in mind. I was looking back through some of his work. Really brilliant man, and so we need people like that around. And he's got a lot more to offer. So hopefully he'll pull through there. And so we want to keep him in mind. So I don't know if that was news to some of you. Maybe I know some of you probably had heard that, but just wanted to mention that.
I've got some other people I want to say hello to. Joanne Johnson says hello. Little Miss Sharon. Wait, what? Sweet tea and sunflowers. Triggered. Welcome. Let's see. Oh yeah, we already said hi to Eve Loves God. Donna Kay. Oh, Chimney Rock. That came out.
Chimney Rock. I think we got a new member.
We do?
Helen.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you for becoming
Helen.
a member of the channel.
Thank you so much. Did you do that yourself?
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
I don't have Aunt E to rely on, so I'm going to have to click buttons and do stuff.
Well, wait till I'm out of town. That'll be crazy.
I know. So I've got to get practice on this, right? So, let's see, Random the Dime. Am I reading that right?
That's a great name. Yeah.
Random the Dime. Wait, what? That's another good name.
Lucy.
Sam's Pretty Paranormal.
Hi, Sam. Welcome. Yes, we're chat buddies. We chat together.
Yeah. So I also wanted to mention too, before I forget about this, I'm always checking out.
Pat Wicks. Hello, Pat Wicks.
Hi, Pat. Thank you for coming in. I always, like to check out new creators and when they get recommended to me.
And Tiffany's here. Hi, Tiffany. Sorry.
Hi, Tiffany. No, that's okay.
Tiffany's been with us a long time.
I had not ever listened to
Donna Kay.
I think it's
Garrett.
Jules.
Hi, Garrett.
Hi, Garrett. Jules, who hosts a show called Allegedly Innocent, I think is the name of it. And it had been recommended somewhere to me. And so I had gone and checked it out last week. And, I got into that where I just listened to like 2 or 3 of them back to back. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with her. I had never heard her before. So there's
a lot we haven't heard of before.
Yeah. I mean, we're learning of new people all the time, so it's, we're always trying to find new folks covering true crime and checking them out. And I'd heard of her before and people had mentioned her a few times.
Ginger Girl says, love Jules. Yeah.
Yeah. She's she's very funny and very, very, very common sense oriented. And she has a medical background that she uses at times throughout her covering of the case. And so, anyway, I was enjoying listening to that. And then I think maybe the third one I was listening to, she was playing a little clip of one of our shows when we interviewed Joseph Lesniak, and she could not have been any kinder and more gracious to us. She gave us all kinds of love on her channel, and she's a much bigger channel than us, and so she didn't have to do that at all.
Right.
But it was really, we just wanted to say we really do appreciate that from her. It was very sweet of her, and so I think if you don't know her, she's funny and she's very direct, and there's a common sense kind of approach to true crime from her. She's very experienced. I think she's been around a while covering this, but she's definitely worth checking out. I've enjoyed the 3 shows of hers that I've listened to recently. Yeah. So Marlena dropped it there in the chat. So
awesome.
If you're looking for new true crime content to check out that you haven't heard before, then that's one I would recommend, at least that I enjoyed.
She made me laugh out loud several times.
Looks like several of you like her also in the chat. So
I wanted to say a little prayer for Garrett. He said, prayers for my town in Western North Carolina. It's been crazy. Tree fell on my house and luckily not too much damage. However, we are without power. This is the worst storm I've seen in 27 years.
Wow.
My goodness. I'm sorry, Garrett. Let's get some prayer hands up for Garrett and all the people in his town, and all the people in East Tennessee, North Carolina, and even in Florida as well. We've just seen it, just towns being destroyed like crazy with this storm. We're definitely feeling it. We're getting a lot of rain here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been steady rain for us, so I would suspect we'll have roads flood soon. But I don't think our area hasn't been too bad.
And I wanted to say, our new member Helen said she's always been here. She's just in the background. So
lots of folks.
And you know what I forgot to do is I forgot to give her welcome. So
oh yeah.
Welcome, Helen. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll have to teach me that also.
Yes. So I'm going out of town. I'm going on a cruise, and Mr. E
or I'll
and
just
Auntie
be doing like fireworks with my hands.
I forgot the fireworks. I forgot.
Or whatever the.
Back in the old days.
I don't even know what the celebrations are, like what they're supposed to be with.
Well, that's for new members. That was one of our original things.
Before we go, what we should do maybe is just have you like do this part, like lead the show, and let me and see what happens.
No,
not interested in that. Okay.
Alicia Hot Wheels is here. Welcome. Hello. Let's see. I'm just looking at all the different. I'm way far behind. Are people making fun of you?
Yeah. K-Max says she's going to be impressed when I use the confetti button.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Little Miss Sharon said, just hold a poster up.
It'll be
welcome.
It'll be little sketches,
I'll be surprised if they'll be able to start the stream without me. If you want to know the truth,
it might just all fall to pieces.
And since I'll be on a cruise ship, I'm not going to be able to help them remotely.
No. It'll be like we'll try, and it'll either just crash and burn, and it'll go black, or it'll work.
I love going on cruises too because I can completely unplug.
But I do have middle E who can help me as long as
he's off camera. I don't want him on camera.
Yeah, we'll keep him off camera.
All right, let's see who else is here. Solo
Callie
Angel
Curtis,
Mom, hello.
welcome in. So and Paula Jones. Okay, so Paula Jones asks who's brainwashed. So that's a nice lead in into what I've been thinking about it. So kind of where this thought came in for us is just kind of watching everything that's been going on for the last few weeks. And I'm kind of a big picture kind of person. So when I see things happen, I usually kind of take the macro view and see how does this all affect the case? How does this all affect? You probably hear us do this all the time. We talk about how does this affect public perception, potential jury pools, and things like that. Not so much, when these small events happen, a YouTuber war or a little war of words that really isn't significant on any grand scale, but this overall picture that develops. And kind of what's happening here, and I've for years I am fascinated with and always have been with the concepts of brainwashing, propaganda, manipulation, coercion, the power of words and language. And it started for me in college. I took a few courses on propaganda and the First Amendment. Was the name of the course I took. And it was one of the most powerful couple of semesters I ever had. I think about that course all the time, and I read and just kind of on my own time. It's just affected my perception of the world, and I all of those kind of principles and things I've learned. I think about this kind of stuff in everything, whether it's politics or entertainment or in true crime. Because the power of persuasion and manipulation is everywhere, and brainwashing is real, and it's more powerful than it's more powerful than people want to think. And so everyone is brainwashed, and it's just a matter of to what degree. So you really can't live in the world without being affected by it in some form of fashion. And so it's if you're consuming media or being influenced or near influencers or advertising in any possible way, you are being propagandized and you are being influenced. No matter how independent and strong and free thinking you may think you are, everyone gets brainwashed to some extent. And a lot of times it's in an innocent, largely harmless kind of way. So it's not necessarily, it's not a derogatory thing. It's just a fact of life. So I'll just kind of give you an innocent example for me. So when I was, a teenager picking schools, I ended up going to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. I was a Vanderbilt fan because my mother was a Vanderbilt fan, and I didn't even really care much about football at all. I just kind of loosely would root for Vanderbilt if I happened to catch them on television. But I almost didn't even like Tennessee because they just seemed like the big school. They beat everybody. Everyone around me was a UT fan. And so there's always a little part of me that's sort of this kind of nonconformist, rebel against the crowd anyway. That's my nature anyhow. But so I go to school and I'm there for 4 years. And when I come out, I am, of course, a bleeding orange UT fan for the rest of my life. And I wasn't before I went in. So what happens, right? So it's because you're around thousands of people that are fans, oranges everywhere, go Vols. I was there during the Peyton Manning years. It affected me almost immediately and changed me as a person in a way for the rest of my life. I'll always root for the school. I'll always root for the team. I'll spend money on merchandise. I'll buy tickets for games. So they effectively brainwashed me. And, that's largely innocent most of the time. I think everyone can kind of relate to something like that. Probably if you think back, maybe you joined a fraternity or sorority, or you became a fan of a singer or whatever it is. Do you have anything like that you can think of where you went in and came out?
Well, I think for me, growing up watching Walt Disney on Sunday night television, Walt Disney was kind of like a, almost like a grandfather type figure to me, even though I think he was already gone by the time when I was a child. On Sunday nights on ABC, they would play, Swiss Family Robinson or some kind of Disney movie. And in my heart, it really grew, it became a part of me. And so, in college, I did my internship at Walt Disney World. We've been there. What? We've been times. There. I've been there probably 60 times. You've probably been 30-ish, I would say.
Oh, I couldn't even count.
Yeah,
I don't have no
idea. I would
idea.
say 30-ish. Yeah.
Several times.
So, for many, many, many years and multiple times a year, we would be, pass holders, and we would go multiple times a year. Anytime we had 3 or 4 days together, we would jump in the car or jump on a plane and head down to Florida. So I think that, that type of, it's a sense of brainwashing in a way, because, he was in my, my living room, and he's always going to hold a place in my heart, even though I'm not a big fan of, a lot of things Disney's done in the past few years. Walt Disney's still really in my heart. So,
but when Disney stuff would come out, you generally would give that a chance over other things that did not have the Disney label, because it had the Disney. They have you.
Right.
They own you in many ways.
They
right?
do. They
it's
do.
Like,
I've got a whole section of closet that are specific vacation shirts for Disney.
Spent lots of money on Disney stuff.
I think we've collectively spent what?
Oh yeah.
Over $100,000 at Disney. Yeah.
Probably better not to even think about
it. Yeah, probably better.
But so these kinds of things, they happen to all of us. And most of the time they're harmless, but they even those can be harmful. If you've ever been to sporting events, especially football games in the college, like the SEC, you'll see fistfights. You'll see people assault other people.
Right.
You'll see, you may know people that will break their own televisions at home.
Oh, right. Right.
Because, and it's over nothing. And so it's literally over a game. Mm-hmm. And these are people that, the players, they're winning games or losing games. They care. They don't care about us. They don't care about us as fans.
Right.
They're not rooting for us to succeed in life. It is It is a one-way street. They own us, right? So
sorry, I was reading chat. They think you have a new hairdo. It's
just too long.
It's just too long.
I'm well past a haircut.
Yeah, and it's also with this weather, it makes it frizz out like
it's the weather.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I get all curly and wild. It's I'm kind of holding it back on this with the headphones.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. If I take the headphones off, it'll just go up. It'll be wings.
It's haircut
like
time.
1970s.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's haircut time all around.
Yeah, no
in
doubt.
The house. Yes. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to get you off track. That just made me laugh. Okay. And then Paula, welcome from the UK. Nice to see you. And Sam's Pretty Paranormal says, I want to see Disney World. I have seen Disneyland. Disney World is a very different undertaking than Disneyland. We've gone to both, and we've been on a few Disney cruises. And Disneyland, I love Disneyland. I didn't think I would. I had for many years, I had a bias against it because I was brought up going to Disney World. And what I found is that Disneyland reminds me of Disney World in the 70s. And that really made me happy because Disney World now it's not unrecognizable, but it's not the same. And Disneyland reminds me so much of the Magic Kingdom when I was little. So sorry. I get it. Okay. Yeah. There I go on Disney again. So we got to stop with Disney or I'm going to.
Right. Because you're brainwashed and
yes.
We'll have it'd be, yes.
Hi, Betty. Welcome.
Hi, Betty. Welcome in. So
Tiffany had a good point.
Destructive individuals and cults use deception and undue influence to make people dependent and obedient. Absolutely. And it can sneak up on people, good people. It really can happen. It happens. I mean, you can see it everywhere. You can see it in all culture, all over the planet, all throughout history. It's why it's so fascinating to me that how someone can just through their words persuade someone to do terrible and violent things at times. And so I am going somewhere with this in case you're kind of wondering. So we are seeking truth, right? And true crime. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this concept and how it applies to true crime and using this Sebastian Rogers disappearance really kind of as our example here. Rosebud says, I mean, I love Elvis. I have many things, Elvis. To be brainwashed, I always thought of things like Jim Jones or Manson. Yeah.
I think that we're indoctrination as well. We're indoctrinated with lots of things all the time. We just,
Yeah. I mean, influenced, brainwashed, propagandized. Brainwash has a more negative connotation to it. It kind of, people kind of think of that more in the extreme, but it's really kind of all the same thing. It's just degrees and how much whether or not it's harmful or not to your life, and that's what it is. So like for me, if I'm talking about, college sports, that's not really harmful to me. I'm not losing money betting on games. I don't get in fist fights over ball games. It hasn't harmed my life in any measurable kind of way, but for some people it can. And so anyway, what I'm trying to get at with this is that if you're in true crime, there's a couple of ways to approach it. You're either seeking truth or you're doing something else. You've got an agenda. And so for us, we are seeking truth. That is our goal, to seek truth here, whether we're not looking, and truth is, I think I've said this recently too, truth is humbling. If you are truly seeking for truth, then you have to be willing to admit that you might be wrong. You might have misjudged the situation. Right. You have to be willing to change course. New evidence arises. You come up with new theories. You have to be humble with it, and it has to be from a place of love when you're searching for truth. They're kind of the same thing. If you're searching for answers to confirm your bias or to an agenda to say I told you so, you're not coming from a place of love. You're coming from a place of ego, right? So in true crime, for us, we are looking to not solve, I guess, but we're looking for the truth in this case. We want to know what happened to Sebastian. We want to know where to look. We want to know, where is he? What happened? We're not trying to prove a point that this person did it on this date in this method and ignore facts as they arise. We are seeking the answer, whatever it is. And you could come into it, like for the Sebastian case, you might come into it wanting him to be alive, which I think almost all of us do. But that could be your bias coming in. And if you see evidence that that's not the case, and you're not willing to face that, then you're not really seeking truth. You're seeking to confirm your own wish and desire. If you're coming at this with an agenda to prove, because you don't like one of the parents, and you despise the parent, and you're just looking for information that backs up that argument, then you're not a truth seeker. You've got an agenda. You've got an axe to grind, or something along those lines. So that's what I mean. And then where this brainwashing concept to me comes in is there's something amazing that's happened with this case. And I have heard from others that similar types of things have happened in others, like the Summer Wells disappearance, where you end up with this bizarre situation where you have people literally committing crimes because of this case. You have people making death threats to other individuals. You have people calling parole officers and making false statements to officials in government, going way past the line of advocating for Sebastian or discussing theories, but taking it to real life action, harmful criminal action from people that would not have done this on their own. That's incredible power. People have been radicalized in some ways. So just think of this. There are YouTubers that just with their words, or TikTokers or whoever they are, just with their words have gone out and spoken to their audience, and over time have convinced them to go out and make a death threat, or to call a public official with the government and commit crimes and make false reporting. That's incredible that someone could, because that's not something that person would have done on their own. They had to be influenced and persuaded, and essentially brainwashed to do that, because they wouldn't have done that if the influencer had never been involved. They never would have even thought to do it. So that's where that's the kind of danger that we're in, and to me it's interesting how we ever got here, and to hope that we never get there, or our audience never gets there. Yeah.
Tit for tat has a good point.
Mystery, I would truly want to see proof of these death threats. I'm challenging that part. Trust but verify. We hear about the death threats, but never see the police reports behind it. I understand. I'm skeptical anytime I hear death threats also. There's been so many people that have claimed this. Maybe they're all false reports, but there's I don't know. There's a dozen or so people that I can think of that have claimed this at some point. Yeah, I know what you mean. So you do have to take this with a grain of salt, and trust but verify, certainly. And that's a form of brainwashing too, actually. If someone says to you, if someone says to you, like, let's say I said to you that I had received a death threat. If you like our position and you enjoy our channel, you're more likely to believe it. If you don't like our positions or our channel, you might think it's a hoax, right? And if I say that to you, I might be trying to persuade you to feel more sympathy for me, or not like the people that I'm alleging the death threats came from. So all those persuasive tactics are powerful.
Well,
Bullhorn Betty says she has 2 reports with Goodlet's full. Okay, I did not know that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so there's at least 2 there. I actually forgot about yours.
We weren't even thinking about hers.
Yeah, there's been so many I've heard about. You had the Uvalde group, you had the Cajun Navy. I don't know, half dozen or so different creators, and Seth and Dog and all these people. Lisa B always says, I trust Coffin Daffer with regarding the threats.
Yeah.
Did she receive one also?
I just think she mentioned Dog and Nix.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing. You had the attorney go out there and make that claim. I don't know if that attorney would go out there and say that. If
she said threats were made publicly too, and she has receipts.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, like on someone's channel and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. There's so much that happens out there. I don't doubt that at all. So, So if anyone wants to check that, I guess you could check. Goodlettsville is technically Davidson County.
Yes.
So yeah, you could check Davidson County records. I suppose for that. I'm going to guess that might have been the time she was in town, around June or so.
I would guess.
Yeah. But think of that. These people that are doing death threats and doing these outrageous, and it happens in other parts of YouTube and true crime also, where people have gone way beyond, have gone real life on people criminally. And they would never have done it if certain influencers did not push them, persuade them, brainwash them into committing criminal acts. So it's, it's something to be aware of. And so so what I would like to do at this point is kind of go through what we can do to defend ourselves from it, deprogram others, mm-hmm. And do some examples here throughout too, particularly with this case.
Oh, hi CJ.
Hi CJ, welcome.
CJ says, sorry, I thought this was good too.
Marlena says, sadly, I think there are so many people just desperate to fit in somewhere. They're willing to do whatever it takes, including bullying. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's a social group component to it. It's that group mentality and the group.
Betty's got another thing too. And hi, Seth.
Betty says they tried to fire Tony from his job, had me arrested when I broke no laws, and tried to have Nick the Hat thrown back in jail. So those are substantiated.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I forgot about Tony. Yeah. Well, you also had the threats to Gabby Petito's father when he wanted to take part in a YouTube show with Seth, and he confirmed that a month or so later. And I don't see what Petito would have had to gain by fabricating that story.
Right. He confirmed it on Justin on TikTok.
Yeah. So these things
we were watching it live and we're like, oh wow, yeah,
way beyond.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's say hi to CJ. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. We appreciate you. And Lady Tit for Tat, you sweet thing. She gifted 5 memberships.
Thank you, CJ. We appreciate that. And thank you, Tit for Tat, for the memberships also. That's very sweet of you.
You are so sweet. And if you got a membership from Lady Tit for Tat, please tell her thank you. And what we like to do over here when we get free memberships is we do a little thank you video. And then we do a little stars. And we welcome our new members.
Another thing I want to kind of mention about this, and like I've said, this has been a pet, just a pet topic and subject for me my whole adult life. I love reading about and researching this topic. One thing about now there are different opinions just depending on who you listen to on the topic, but it's not an IQ thing actually. So if you think you're not, you can't be brainwashed, there are a lot of experts out there on this topic that actually will tell you that it's the moderate to high IQ people that are easier to brainwash than the low IQ people. And the first time I heard that, I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. But the reason for that is that people that are of average to higher IQ are curious by nature. And so they seek out information. And so by seeking out information and knowledge, it makes you more susceptible and open to receiving disinformation and essentially brainwashing. Whereas you're much more low IQ individual, they may not listen to the news or read papers or listen to podcasts on various topics and things. They're not curious. And so you can't reach them as easily to manipulate them essentially. So that it's sort of counterintuitive, but kind of makes sense to me that way once that was explained. So what thought I would do here first is just go through some of the tactics that these people use to manipulate. And
that's an interesting. That's a good way to put it. Oh, Roxy, I'm sorry you miss Aunt E. She had a neat show to go to tonight. Yeah. So
had tickets,
and this is the only night Mr. E was not working this week, so we had to do it tonight. I'm sorry.
We're all reined in anyway, so might as well do a live stream, right?
And CJ said something really sweet, just because isn't that sweet?
Oh, thank you, CJ. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's got a great channel. He's been doing some searches too, and so best of luck with the continuous searching. You know, that's one of the ways we might be able to bring this case to a close is just finding him. So we're best of luck with that. And so I've got a list of 5 tactics that I think are pretty common from people that are trying to mislead, deceive, essentially propagandize and brainwash. And so these are things to look out for. If you notice these tactics being done, be on guard of them, because the way to protect yourself is to be aware of what they're attempting to do. One of those, one is maybe all of you would know and recognize right away, is polarization. So is to try to divide and conquer, put you into groups, put you into camps, so that it keeps an us versus them. Our human nature is to group up and protect our group. It's just part of our human instinct. That's why I always push so hard back on the idea of being on a team Seth or a team Katie. It's a ridiculous conflict anyway, because it's not a binary choice about what happened to Sebastian anyhow. Seth can be. I feel like I say this every live stream. Seth could be innocent and could be completely innocent, and that does not mean that Chris and Katie are innocent or guilty. It could be a stranger, it could be another family member involved. Chris and Katie can be completely innocent. That does not mean that Seth has any guilt. All 3 could be innocent. All 3 could have worked together. It could be it could be Katie or Chris. It could be a lot of scenarios. It's not a binary choice. And it also doesn't even really have anything to do with personality. They could all be charming, wonderful people. That doesn't change guilt or innocence. They could all be horrible people. It doesn't change guilt or innocence at all. So the team stuff, it's a way that people will manipulate you into thinking you've got to make a choice between one or the other. That's why I hope we're always welcoming to people that have different opinions from us. I have said it to several people on our show. If you have a theory that contradicts one of our theories, present it. I would love to hear what you think. We'll challenge you for sure. We'll poke holes in it. And if it doesn't make any sense, we'll disregard it. But you're welcome to present any ideas here. I mean, we've changed our opinions on various things about this case over time. I know from the very beginning, we did have our own bias coming in, which was that we thought that Sebastian, because of the autism, had wandered off, gotten lost, went to a lake, something along those lines. Just want to acknowledge here real quick. Ginger for Ob, I'm assuming Auburn there. Ignorance is bliss until they take your bliss away. Yeah, that's very true.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I understand the reference.
That is so sweet.
But thank you for that.
Thank you. That's very nice. It always makes me feel good.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for that. And so so keep that in mind. If people are trying to split you into groups and make you feel like you don't have a choice, you absolutely have a choice if you're a truth seeker. You don't have to have teams. Of course, we always kind of say we're on Team Sebastian. But of course, that's simple. Everybody should. Anyone that's not on Team Sebastian, there's probably just a couple of people, a handful of people that were not. Whoever did this to him. So that's the only kind of team that we acknowledge and play. So
we've got a couple of new people I want to say hello to.
Oh, sure.
Brittany J has dropped in to say hello. Hi, Brittany J. And it looks like Nick's floating around here somewhere.
Oh, hi, Nick. Well, welcome in.
Welcome in. I don't see him.
Yeah,
Did you block us, Nick?
I see some green hearts.
Okay, but I don't see Nick. Am I crazy?
He did a bunch of green hearts just a moment ago.
He did? Mm-hmm. I don't see it.
You know what? I might be behind on the chat or something. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Let's say Brittany J's in here also. Hi, Brittany.
I just said that.
Oh, you did.
See, when you've been married this long, he stops listening. He stops listening. We've got all kinds of great people in here tonight. Well, welcome everybody, and anybody that's just coming in, we appreciate you.
And of course, these things apply on other levels also. So if people try to put you in, you've got it right versus left or race or any kind of group, they try to pit you against each other. You just got to be aware. Thank you, Nick. I'm playing this on my TV. Stop by to say hi and comments, but I'm watching amazing work as always.
Oh, well,
thank
we
you so much.
appreciate that, but the high definition is probably not best for us.
I apologize for that. I think we play better on a small little phone.
Yeah, tiny phone would be great. No,
or just as a podcast, just throw in the earbuds and don't look at us at all.
Yeah, we're just kidding. All right, sorry, I got you off topic.
That's the number one thing to look for because it is sort of obvious, and it's one of the first things people try to do because they want to isolate you from others that think differently from you. So if you see that, be on alert that might be what is happening to you. Also, people that will present you conclusions without evidence. This happens a lot in lots of arenas. I've seen it all over the place in true crime, especially on this case. The example I just thought of, we got a comment the other day. Someone came on, I think it was our X account, and they just said to us, "Oh, your channel, you're full of lies." Okay. Well,
don't forget, Aunt E and Mrs. E are a disgrace to true crime.
Disgrace, So
of course, we just laugh at that.
But that's the kind of stuff when and I almost thought about responding, but someone just saying you're full of lies. Well, that's a conclusion. If I have lied to my audience, I actually want to know. If I've said something incorrect, please, you're welcome to correct me. But they throw the label. They don't have any intention of producing any evidence because we don't lie to our audience. So I knew there was nothing there, and so I almost considered just responding back. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Please provide any evidence that I've ever lied to our audience. And of course, but then you're just playing with the troll. So it's better to just block and move on, actually. But that's just an example of what I mean when people present you with conclusions. This person's a grifter. This person's a liar. This person, this person is guilty or what, and they don't provide any evidence to back that up and actually get a little defensive when you challenge that. It'd be another sign that someone's trying to manipulate your emotions and everything as well. Yeah, Mystery of the Pathological Liar. That is me. That's my new name. That'll be my second channel.
Most of these people are probably too young to remember Saturday Night Live. Do you remember John Lovitz? What was it called? That's the ticket.
Right. So that's the second one I wanted to mention. Then dehumanizing language. So this is real common too, especially, and this is all broad, but it applies to true crime too. Animals, rats, snakes, pigs, things of that nature. People start doing that kind of talk, where they might call someone, call you a racist or homophobe, or what has happened a lot in this case, somebody will try to put the label of the P word on people. With no evidence, no convictions, no arrests, anything like that at all. And what they're trying to do when people do that with no evidence or backing to it, they're trying to dehumanize the person they're attacking so that their audience in that group, their cult, is more comfortable committing crimes against that person because they're lesser than human. You don't have to treat them with humanity if you can convince someone that they're a terrorist or a racist or a snake or whatever the word is. It's a mind control type of tactic. It's very common in war. When you start hearing people referring to other countries in those kind of terms, usually means they're getting ready to go to war. But it happens in all kinds of places. So you start to hear that dehumanizing kind of language and those type of labels. People are trying to get you to feel comfortable treating that person less than you would a neighbor or any other citizen,
or someone face to face.
Yeah, I mean, in this arena, that makes it even easier for people. Another is emotion. So if you are listening to anyone, reading anything, and you start to feel a very strong emotional response, that's a time to take a step back. Whether it's sympathy, anger, fear, step back and consider what the person is trying to convey to you. Are Are they trying to elicit a reaction from you? What are they trying to activate you in some way? Why are they doing it? Why are they provoking you? Start asking you those questions and figure out if you're being manipulated, and kind of look into what their agenda might be. And then the last one I have is about groupthink. And I think that's been very strong in this situation. You have these little tribes that are developing, and people that question the narratives within those tribes really aren't welcome. They're ostracized and kicked out. So could we do the videos?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that might be new here or not a normal viewer of our channel that we don't tolerate being hateful to each other in chat. And mods, feel free to kick out whatever it is you guys do. Please feel free to do that. I'm seeing some stuff I don't care for in here because this is a safe space. It's fine to have a different opinion, but it's not good to be nasty about it. So.
Civil disagreements are totally welcome and fine. We're just not going to attack each other or any other creators. So we're not, that's just, we're not a drama channel that way, but there is this kind of overall issue that is worth, I think, thinking about as we kind of go forward, because I think we're seeing a lot of this. I
like that. No price on nice. That's right. Great. I love that, Criminal Med. That's awesome. Yeah. I really do like that. So I just want to remind, and if you don't think you can abide by it, we would prefer not to block you or kick you out. Maybe move along to some other place that you might like better. So
I don't know. Ginger Farab wanted to know who's being hateful. Let me add him. I'm fired up today.
Well,
that's okay. We don't. It's not necessary.
I've caught myself lately getting a little fired up about stuff too. Sure. So that kind of sparked this conversation between the two of us about, why are we fired up? We kind of got, that's how we got down this path. So we thought it would be interesting.
So can we?
Phil DD, welcome in. Nice to see you. To clarify, he said civil, not civil. Just act like you have manners. Exactly. We want this to be a safe space for everybody. And like we said, it's okay to have differing opinions, but we don't like it when you're not nice to each other. So, okay. You want to play this first video, correct?
Yeah, I just want to.
What?
Flickery Afoot said, I've been here since before y'all decided on a name.
Oh,
so that's been a while.
That is so nice. Yeah.
Back when our sound wouldn't work for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Around that while. It
was
pretty rough those first few live streams.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't see the roughest ones when we had one person in chat. Yeah. And we still miss you, Adrian, you're out there.
If you're still out there lurking somewhere.
Adrian would have us, all three of us, our complete attention. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. So you want to play this one, Kurt? No, right?
Well, not yet. Actually, I kind of skipped that, so we'll go back to that later.
This is not the outline you gave me, sir.
I know. I meant to do that earlier.
Is this the one you want?
We'll go back to it.
The AC8.
Yeah. So these are all about.
I just need to know first. Okay, go ahead and talk to chat while I get it ready, because I didn't know. You changed your mind on me. So
okay,
give me just a second. This one, right? Hold on.
Yes, and you may have seen this before, but this is a wonderful example of what we're talking about.
Okay, I'm going to try to make it big so everybody can see it real quick. Okay. All right.
But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Asch reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left and determine which of the three lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give your answer.
Only one of the people in the group is a real subject, the fifth person with the white t-shirt. The others are confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3,
But on the third trial, something happens.
2. 2. 2. 2. 2.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
1.
Asch found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons.
1. 1. They must be right. There are 4 of them and 1 of me. 1.
This subject's yielding is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
1. 1. 1. 2. 1. 2. 2. 2.
I know they're wrong, but why should I make waves?
2.
In this case, the subject knows he is right, but goes along to avoid the discomfort of disagreeing with the group. Here, the distortion is at the level of his response.
2. 2. 2. 2.
In the previous experiment, the naive subject stood alone against the group. In this variation, Asch gave the naive subject a partner, here seated in the third position, who also gives the correct response.
1. 1. 2. 1. 2.
With a partner, yielding drops to only 5% of the critical trials compared to 37% without a partner. Although subjects report warmth and good feeling toward the partner, they typically deny that he played a role in their own independence. The partnership variation shows that much of the power of the group came not merely from its numbers, but from the unanimity of its opposition. When that unanimity is punctured, the group's power is greatly reduced. Sometimes we go along with a group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. The strength of the normative factor is shown in another variation carried out by Asch. In this variation, the subject is told that because he had arrived late, he would have to write his answers. Subjects in this private response experiment are exposed to the same amount of misleading information as other subjects, but they are immune from any possible criticism by the group.
1. 1. 1.
And this enormously reduces the pressure to conform. Conformity drops by 2/3. Asch's experiment is a classic. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
All right.
Yeah, so I love that. I had seen that years ago.
One of the most famous
what?
experiments about conformity are
I'm
the
trying to
Asch
kick it
line
out.
experiments, which were conducted at
Okay, sorry guys. I meant to kick it out.
Yeah, so I love that experiment. I had seen that a few years ago, and it made me think of this situation.
Rosebud's worried that you're going to make her have a test.
No, I'm not going to do that. No experiment here. But when you look at this, that there's a whole group of people that have somehow come to the idea that Seth could be involved in this situation, and groupthink has to be playing a role in it because he has an absolutely rock solid alibi. There's no theory that makes any sense. He doesn't have the money to have hired people to carry this out for him, or the connections, the ability, even the motive. There's nothing about the idea of Seth being involved that makes any practical, logical sense. Anyone that comes into the case for the first time, untouched by this corner of the internet, by YouTube, that just sees it for the first time. Every time they come in, they come to the same conclusion, right? They come to the same leading theories. They come to the point where, like Laura Lodge or Mob Crew or Dog, all these people, every time they come in new, when they've come in late and they start sorting through everything, everybody ends up with basically the same notion that it's most likely something in the house. Second theory is it possibly someone outside of the house. That's what happens with everyone that's not been kind of brainwashed by this constant flow from a combination of TikTok and YouTube. So there's some group think kind of mentality going on there. And one of the things I like about that experiment is people have different reasons too. For some people, it is just the conformity, just not wanting to be go against the grain. Some people even know they're wrong, but they don't want to be an outcast with a group. So people will have different motives and reasons for why they just go along with the crowd. And some of it's fear. I mean, if you turn against the group, they isolate you, they attack you, towards the end of that experiment too, it talks about anonymity. They're more likely to not conform when they believe they're anonymous, which is kind of interesting in the internet world, where we can kind of hide behind usernames, and have anonymous voices and channels. You're in some ways more free to speak both truth and kind of hate, actually. So that's also interesting. Rachel says, mom mentality is so fascinating, applies in other situations as well. If there's a large group of people who see someone who needs help and no one helps you, you are not likely to step in and help.
Right.
Yeah. Where was I? Somebody was just talking about this.
This is an interesting thing too.
Yeah. Like if you're out in the country and you see someone injured, you're going to stop and help. In a city setting, people are much less likely to help.
I actually misread that. Kimmy K says people are followers. I was actually thinking that's the way a lot of YouTubers refer to their subscribers as followers.
Yeah. Even our language, right?
Yeah.
They're influencers,
Right.
And they're followers.
And what's the definition of an influencer?
Right.
Someone who influences people.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there. And, so it's interesting, and so I think that that's part of what's happened in this case is you've got these little tribes that have developed around a really irrational, impossible scenario.
Good measure. You're in the right place then. I'm diplomatic, but I don't tolerate mob mentality.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get you off track.
No, it's okay. So that was kind of, unless any of you have I have some other areas I'm going to go, but as far as just tactics that you see common,
maybe they could put some in chat for you.
Yeah, if you have some in chat that maybe I didn't cover or think of that you think are common, especially within true crime, where you see tactics that people use to kind of manipulate people into.
That's a great one.
True. I mean, I probably do this actually. I probably use troll when it's not necessarily true. Sure.
And here comes your bias.
Hi, Tennessee nerds. All of this is so important to teach our children as well. Your kiddos are blessed to have you as parents. Well, thank you very much.
I'm not sure they would agree. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, we do have these talks with the kids because we don't want them. We want them to be able to recognize things and not be, I don't know if brainwashed is the right word.
Free thinkers as much as possible.
Right.
One thing I have learned and have read on is that the types of people that are the strongest against brainwashing are the ones that are very aware of who they are and are comfortable with who they are. So the people that identify as, like, if you find your identity with labels, like if you think of yourself, I'm a doctor, I'm a farmer, I'm a dad, I'm a Cowboys fan, whatever it is, if you're that's your identity as a person, if that identity gets ruptured or shaken in any way, you are more susceptible to being, because you lose your identity and you're more more easily brought into a new group, if that makes sense at all. Where if you're comfortable in your own skin and you know who you are and you have no doubts about that, or few, I guess. Well, I guess we all have doubts, right? But if you're really aware of what you are and you don't and who you are, then it's harder to influence you. And we probably all know people like that are, that they're their own, they march to the beat of their own drummer because they are who they are and they're comfortable with it, and you almost can't persuade them to do anything. Rosebud says, all jokes aside, I had this conversation with my husband earlier. Even in a court of law, there is no good theory that, for example, Seth would pull the wool over our eyes, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, I have asked several people over the last few months that have come into our chat and said, well, what about Seth? And I always say, well, present me with a theory that makes any sense. And no one ever does.
Oh, I've
not yet had it happen.
Graham's got a good point.
They don't even try. Graham says, love him or hate him, I see a lot of the same tactics towards President Trump and disliking him. Sure, it absolutely happens in politics.
I think we probably see it there the most.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens everywhere. All politics. And yeah, absolutely. Tiffany, those who are spreading the false narratives don't even believe it themselves. I think this is a combination.
Yeah, I do
actually.
too. I was going to say.
I think there's some that believe what they're saying, and I think there's some that don't. Yeah,
and then
I think it's a combination.
I agree with Coco Honey. Please hit that like button.
Yeah, thank
it
you
helps us with the
that.
algorithm. We
I
would
never
appreciate
think about
it.
that kind of
Yeah, we
stuff,
don't think
know?
about it. We're bad about that stuff.
I know.
And then Wannabe Sleuthin' Something. I always love that name every time.
That's right. It's called it's called the bystander effect, the Genovese syndrome, after the 1964 unaliving of Kitty Genovese. I didn't know that.
You might want to write that down. He's been doing a lot of research with this stuff.
It's absolutely. I always have. It's fascinating to me. Just the things that people have, like just the horrific things that have happened all throughout history. It almost always starts with propaganda and some form of messaging. It happens in. I'm very much opposed to just about any war, so that's what upsets me a lot. And before wars start, there's always there's these pictures that will come out to make the other side look horrible.
Yes, that does happen.
You could take I don't want to get into world stuff that much, but pictures of people holding up children, or and sometimes the pictures are from wars that happen in other countries, or from 10 years ago, or they turn out to be staged events and not real at all. But it's too late. You've already convinced the people that this other group needs to be pulverized and bombed and everything else. And so it's fascinating to me. How do we get people to the place to where we're willing to take each other's lives of strangers we don't know? And then on smaller scales, how do we get to a point in true crime where just because you're looking at evidence and you come to the conclusion that Seth is innocent, that somehow you deserve attack and death threats, or if you have an investigative company coming into town to search and research and look for Sebastian, that somehow you need to call the parole officer and try to get him arrested. There are these things that happen that are mind-boggling. But the answer is people have been radicalized through propaganda, persuasion, and so if we're aware of it, we can protect ourselves from it, because it can happen to any of us in a lot of ways.
Right.
If you've lived a little while, it probably has happened to you. I can certainly think of times where I've felt anger at different things, and I've misjudged situations. And,
sure.
And I've had to turn away from certain. I don't watch the nightly news. I don't watch the news anymore. I don't watch mainstream media because it's a propaganda machine.
Well, there you go. We just got demonetized. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
What did I say that gets demonetized? Mainstream media?
Yeah. No, mainstream media is propaganda. I'm just joking. Well, I'm kidding, guys. We don't care about that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everything gets you demonetized, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things I want to say real quick. Tit for Tat's really happy with your work. And then Jen Hub says,
thank you, Tit.
Hello, Mystery. The pearls are probably coming in. Well, thank you for letting us know, and welcome, Pearls.
Thank you, Pearls.
We absolutely love Justin. And we hated to go. I did after I'd already scheduled it. I realized he'd had one, and
our schedule's such we just have to go when we can go. That's kind of the way it is. When family stuff happens and work and all that, we just have to do it when we can.
And Opinionated says, I always want to hear out people with differing opinions to see if there's anything I may have overlooked. Ooh. My mind can be changed with new evidence. And I agree with you 100%. Well, Opinionated.
Actually, Opinionated, that's a segue. So the next area I wanted to talk about. So we talked about the things to look for. Now, how do you combat propaganda? And there's three primary ways. That's the third on my list there, is try to find alternative voices with opposing views. And the key to that is to try to find reasonable people with the exact opposite belief system of you to get closer to truth, to make sure that you're not being misinformed. Because let's take politics, for example. If you are a Republican, it's impossible for Rachel Maddow to propagandize you. you're not listening or paying any attention to Rachel Maddow. But Sean Hannity can influence you and propagandize you. And the same if you're a Democrat, then Sean Hannity has no effect on you. He can't influence you in any way, but Rachel Maddow can. So you have to be aware of when people tell you news you like or tell you things you'd like to hear, that those are the people that have a stronger ability to influence your thinking and shape it, if that makes sense at all. So it's always good, though, if you can. Now, this is harder to do in this case, but I do occasionally go over and listen to people talk about Seth to see what's the argument, especially if I can find a discussion on why they think he's involved. And I haven't heard a reasonable opinion yet. Most of them boil down to gut feeling is usually what they say. Mm-hmm. That he's so unlikable, he must be involved, or it's my instincts, or they've talked to Chris and Katie and like them, and so they must be innocent. That's usually where it comes down to. I've never heard a reasonable, possible, feasible theory. But I do go occasionally to listen because I actually am seeking truth. If there's a way, I would listen, but there's nothing logical that I have heard that puts Seth involved. There's a million other possibilities out there. It could be the parents, it could be family members, neighbors, it could be a pastor, a teacher, or a total stranger. All those are still not ruled out. We might have leading theories, but Seth is off the table at this point. Linda McInerney, I guess, says an informational conformity is working in this case, as the creators that have personal relations with the parents have more people believing what they're saying because they think they have inside info. Yeah, this is tough for us too, actually, because we've been hesitant to even do interviews with the show, reach out to get to know these people. So we've kind of tried to keep our distance from the parents. I've met Seth. We talked to him maybe a grand total of 2 minutes, and he was nice to us and everything. But we don't have a relationship with him or talk to him, in any other way. But we have been kind of intentionally standoffish to try to sort of stay in our own lane a little bit, and that's just to make sure that we are not being influenced and swayed by the three parents, actually, because we just want the truth of it. And you get too close one way or the other, you could be influenced. Now we're at the stage of the game, actually, though, where we're at the point where we've analyzed everything to this level that, Seth's already off the table to us before we'd ever met him. We had ruled him out months ago just through logic. Many of you were here with us when we did that. We just, it never made any sense. We couldn't find a feasible theory. But then we had the hammer come down with the timesheets that he produced. And then that should have put to rest any other talk about Seth. Of course, it didn't. So here's
Rachel wanted us to see her
sure.
comment.
That would be different set studies. The following orders excuse Nuremberg trials. That would be expected with the electricity shocks they believe they were giving others. The Milgram experiment.
You might want to write those down.
Yeah.
You upset Ginger Girl when you said Rachel Maddow. Sorry.
Well,
you lost her.
Yeah, I know. And
what?
I don't know. I don't want to get political.
Yeah. Because it's easy to get political. So
because,
we're trying to say,
many of us have strong feelings and emotional feelings about it. And it's partly because we, have all been brainwashed on politics. I mean, I certainly have my beliefs about things, but I try to be aware of when I feel emotional about it. If someone's, what's happening.
We have a super chat from Ashes to Ashes. I'm trying to get to it.
Ginger
said
she was kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, I know. I'm so far behind, y'all.
I don't see the super chat.
It's right here.
Okay. Ashes to Ashes says, I think the biggest question is how would he have snuck out with no cameras in the neighborhood seeing him or no legit Central? Yeah.
That's exactly that. I think we have a few little things that we get hung up on. That's one of them.
Yes, for sure.
Another one is the no shoes. If you watched our first few episodes, that's it always comes back to the shoes. Kind of was a catchphrase.
I actually even think I feel so strongly about the shoe thing. I think if his shoes had been gone, I don't even know if this case is as controversial or as talked about.
Right.
It was such a big red flag early on that's the one where people were going, "Whoa, the shoes." He left with no shoes,
and we knew.
And then
about
Seth
that
comes out talking
quickly.
about the fire ants, and it's like, "Oh, okay." And then you later learn through, people that have been in true crime a long time probably already knew this, but that the shoe question is one that policemen often will ask to see, because this is terrible, of course, but if an attack happens on someone within a home, they're not usually wearing shoes. So if the body is disposed of later, they don't think to take shoes with them.
We looked that up.
Right.
Remember?
So a lot of times police officers will at a scene say, so where are the shoes?
Or all the shoes accounted for.
Right. Or all the shoes accounted for. So it is one of those, it's one of those points that
it's a gotcha.
that investigators ask about, because it can be a red flag. And so I think this whole case is maybe not as controversial or as discussed if it weren't for that. It might have even disappeared.
Right. Would definitely been more evidence of walking out.
Yeah. And then,
Mm-hmm. And thank you for your super chat, Ashes to Ashes. I'm going to do this just so I don't get him too off topic. I will do just some stars to thank you. And we appreciate you.
I didn't know if Bullhorn Betty was still around or not, but thank you for being here tonight, Betty. I just want to mention, if you didn't catch her live stream today that came out,
it was
about,
excellent.
1:30 or so, whatever one that was called, was fantastic. She made some really good points in there that I had not thought of before.
Oh yeah,
she breaks down the second Duchess interview,
which I haven't looked at a whole lot, honestly.
I haven't either. And one of the points she makes is about how the timing, because there was almost like a week where they would have been quiet, and this is early March.
Yeah, the timing is a gotcha.
And
for sure,
and it was when that flashlight video comes out. This is what she's talking about. When the flashlight video comes out, it's a couple of days later they finally go back on Duchess again, and looking back in hindsight, it seems like a damage control measure on their end, because they definitely went back trying to clear their names. Was when you listen to their agenda and motives, that is certainly what was going on. So that there's several other points you made I hadn't considered before in that video. So I would recommend checking that out.
She's still here. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
She has no power, and she's given us her power to be here.
You're using your generator power to be here tonight. So
that's so nice.
And I hope you're safe. I hope everything's okay down there.
I think is that the storm is past that area now, isn't it? Or is it still there?
I don't think it's still heavy there anymore.
It's just like the flooding they're dealing with now.
Yeah, you got the after effects and all that. But yeah, so I have two others I want to mention.
Will you read that?
Oh yeah, Bullhorn Betty says the only thing on camera was two flashlights going to a vehicle, so there was evidence of something. But what? I have theories, but it's not good.
Well, I'll tell you one thing with that. You played an old news report that I'm not even sure I've seen, that clearly states that it's a criminal investigation, which I thought was like, woo, wait, did I just hear that? We rewound it.
I had heard it before, and I've been looking for it, and I couldn't find it, but it's Rory, whatever his name is. But that's what he clearly says, a criminal investigation.
Right. And they wouldn't have gotten that wrong.
Yeah. And
and Nick hints at it all the time.
Well, and then even in that video, his original flashlight video, he says that
he does.
He was talking to an investigator about that video, or someone close to the investigation is how he phrases it. And Mrs. E and I have theorized for a while that was a leak by law enforcement to Nick, that video, and that was them trying to shake the trees a little bit themselves, which worked because it got them out on Duchess a couple of days later, if allegedly, in our opinion. Right. Oh. Covering ourselves there, I suppose. So anyway, there's two other things that you can do to protect yourselves against these propagandists, these disinformation agents, whatever you want to call them. And the number one, we've kind of talked about this, is notice how you react to any creator or content creator. Are you emotional? Are you angry? Are you scared? And then consider, why is the creator being so provocative? Like, if somebody's, if you feel overly sympathetic, are they trying to get you to give donations? If you're scared, are they trying to motivate you to do something? If you're angry, are they trying to get you to attack someone else, do something out of your norm? Are you being pushed in some way? You need to at least look at the motivation of the person creating or speaking to you.
I think a lot of times I see people make their people or chat or whatever you want to call it angry. And that does seem to spark donations by making them angry about someone or something.
There are studies on when people are angry, it's the easiest time to manipulate them.
Wow.
Like that, when you're angry, it is easier to push someone in a direction and shape them. So that emotion in particular is very powerful in brainwashing. Is anger.
I'm certainly not angry, because Rosebud says, however, I may be swayed to change my hair color while looking at Mrs. E's beautiful hair.
You've been getting a lot of
I've been getting a lot of gray hair comments lately, and I will tell you,
you ought to clip it all out for your hair person.
Oh no. Well, I'll tell you, this was my original color back in the day. Now it's kind of gray and weird. So, but thank you, I appreciate it. It's a money grab, Mrs. E.
It is
right.
And I don't know if you guys ever listened to. I didn't even Josh on
but it's
the lab.
I do want to say one thing. It's okay to support your people too, because we have a lot of people who rely on this for their income. It's okay to support your people, but just be aware if you're being right.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, like sending the super chats and things like that. You're kind of, I'm just saying that we have a lot of friends on here that rely on this for their income. So we don't want people to stop sending them super chats and things like that.
I don't think that's what I was saying.
Okay, good.
I hope that was no.
I don't want it to come off like that. That's all I'm just saying.
No, well, this is okay. So this is actually what Josh was saying on the Lab After Dark, which is kind of like his show where he kind of just talks whatever's on his mind. And he was saying,
he calls it pay rage.
Yeah. Well, this is what Josh was saying. He's like, he was talking about the two levels of the problem with this situation. So you've got creators that, they'll go on and they'll just, say the nastiest, most vile things about people. And then they get a $20 super chat, So
right.
Their incentive, it's just positive reinforcement. It's like giving a bacon bit to the dog when they roll over. Basically, you're just, you give them the $20. Well, then of course they're going to keep the creator. You almost can't blame them in a way. Of course, they're going to keep doing it over and over. The money keeps coming in. So this nasty, awful behavior continues because the people are funding it. And what Josh was saying was the people that are really hard to understand are the people that follow it, that do it, that are so just so addicted to this nastiness.
Right. That they look forward to it and revel in it.
That's what's really hard to understand.
This is a good point. Fun to Ski.
Fun to Ski says, to keep objective, you need to get too involved with the parent. You need to not get too involved with the parents. And if you are close enough, your judgment gets skewed and no longer impartial, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's saying pay rage in chat here. And
I hadn't heard that phrase, but that's kind of it.
Welcome in, Tony Mathis. I see you in chat.
Yeah, welcome in, Tony. So
oh, this is a great point too.
Legal extraction with Julie McClellan. You shouldn't rely on supporters for income. You provide a service and in turn get supported, not out of guilt, support for your work.
That's a great point. Yeah, you're right. I just, I'm not as eloquent of a speaker on camera as I am off camera. And he kind of, we've been married so long, he knows what I'm thinking. So I just kind of look at him and he can spew out what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do want to say, I can't watch too much hate in the world already. I can't either. It affects my soul. If I watch, I can't watch. Mrs. Z will know this. Occasionally, she'll have one of those things on.
Well, I like to look at other perspectives when they're constructive. And I've had a difficult time finding constructive.
I get about 10
opinions.
minutes into it, and I literally have to just walk away. There are times in the months past when we were kind of learning who people are and what things are like.
this is a great
if I
point.
listen to that for a while, it just truly affects my mood for the day. I just don't know. It's not healthy for people.
This is a great point.
Want to be sleuthing something says, can I just say that when I hear blatant lies about the Foots, I hate it just as much as when I hear blatant lies about Seth. Liars are not going to help from any direction. That is definitely true.
100%. I agree with that totally.
And that's where, so this is kind of what I was saying before, like how Rachel Maddow can't affect a Republican, but as Sean Hannity can. So if you hear something about Chris that paints him in a bad light and you suspect Chris is involved, well, that's the kind of information you have to be even more diligent about vetting, because it confirms your bias already. Like the power washing story is the one I always give as an example on Chris. We didn't cover or run with that. People kept trying to talk about it in our chat. We kept saying, this is an anonymous, unknown source. We're not doing that.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The pressure washer. That's the one I always use as the example, because we.
Oh, right.
It was an anonymous, unknown source, and it didn't feel like an authentic story to us anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be extra diligent on things that confirm your biases. Where a positive thing from Seth, who we already think and believe to be innocent, we're more likely to believe, or a lie about him, we're going to catch more easily than we might a lie about Chris, right? So we all have to be somewhat on guard on these things.
Yeah. Betty says fact check everything. That's her motto. I agree. I agree.
And it's tough. Not everyone has the time to do it, and you've got to.
You'll often see us wait when something big happens. We wait and we take it in and we think about it and we check on things and we, check what's said. We won't react right away because we don't want to, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't want to jump on the gun and be wrong.
Exactly. Right. And then the third is to don't engage with propagandists. And that it sounds simple, but I know many of us do. I have listened to things also that I beyond what I should have, and gotten caught up in listening and for the next pile on or whatever. And I'm trying to be more diligent about not giving it the even a single view. I try to once. I'm trying to put all of that aside too, but also these things show up in your algorithm was a point I had read earlier. If you watch a disinformation, whatever it is, actually any propagandist on any topic, the algorithms believe you like it. So they're going to keep feeding it to you. So if you're watching hate channels out of hate for the hate channels, then that's going to get fed to you more. If you watch more, extreme conspiracy stuff, you're going to get more extreme conspiracy stuff
right down the rabbit hole.
Whatever you watch, the computer's always watching us and taking note, and it will feed that stuff to you.
That's right.
So you vote with your dollars on a lot of things, and advertising dollars count too. So if you watch something that's vile and disgusting because
right,
why I can't stand this, but I want to see what they've done, you're still contributing to the problem.
Right.
And we're all guilty of this. We all do this. I think at least we at times do this.
Well, sure. And I've had to, and I see that Kelsey says the same thing. I've had to unfollow people that did that. Yeah. Because what I'll have to do is go to my history and remove it from my history, because of the fact that I don't want to continue seeing things. Like even if you just have your YouTube on and you scroll over something too long, it will put it in your history.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And so one thing, that's what I always tell the kids too, because there's a lot of ugly things out there in the world. And I always tried to say to them to protect your mind, because you can't unsee stuff. Like this one will watch things that I'll never watch, or a person will send me, a picture I don't want to see. And I get mad at that person. I'll fuss at them and say, look, that's not something I can't unsee things. I'll see that for the rest of my life. So I make sure that I know it's off topic a little bit, but it's just one of those things.
What you take in affects who you are.
It does. And I don't want to see people, I can't unaliving, and that's not the right word. I'm trying to think of a different word.
You can't handle the visuals.
I can't handle the visual stuff. I can't see people getting hurt.
Bodies. She can't handle.
I can't handle that.
Yeah.
No, I won't do it. I'm sorry. Oh, Ginger for all Auburn. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think some people live their entire lives behind a screen. They don't leave home or have much human contact. Maybe this is a result of their own trauma, so they're easily influenced by hate channels.
I think that I think there's a lot. I think that's a lot of it. And you know, I was saying this to him today. We were listening to Josh After Dark, the Lab After Dark today. And, you know, he gave some details about his life, and I'm going to use a bad word, but I said, you know, that just goes to show you that everybody has their, is living through their own personal hell.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that he didn't say it like that, but everybody has
stuff they're dealing with.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's got stuff they're dealing with. And, you know, I think that's part of, being a good person is realizing that and trying to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah, you never know what other people are dealing with.
So,
but yeah,
anyway.
I think the inhuman part of it is certainly the hiding behind the screen, the anonymity, the loneliness, all of that contributes to it. I mean, if you're, yeah, I think you're right.
I'm sorry. You already read it. Thank you, Ginger, so much.
But thank you for that. I was very kind.
I am going to give you some stars. And, you know, I think I'm going to give you a thank you as well. And thank you, everybody that's donated tonight. You guys are super sweet. We really do appreciate it. We look at it as kind of like a tip, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Thanks.
Okay, sure.
Okay, sorry. I had to tell him I had to go to the bathroom. I should have just said it. It looks weird, right? I should have just said it. It's one of those things for me. Oh, okay. And it's also, it's weekend, so we're not going to make everybody go to bed right now.
I'm not doing the video yet anyway, so then I want to.
Okay, you talk for a minute, and I'm going to go use the restroom.
So
Sam caught me. She's laughing. That's funny.
So, so this part, what I want to talk about is just how to deprogram people that are brainwashed too. This is actually really hard and tricky, and not easy to do. There's a lot written about it, but a lot of it is really dealing more with extreme cult kind of situations, you know. But there's three main ways over time that I've come to believe they're the most likely, especially if you're not talking about like the extreme cult, like the real dark kind of stuff, but more like people that are simply brainwashed on any topic. So one of the ways to deprogram someone is just through shock. So sometimes people need a shocking revelation to wake them up to the propagandizing that they've received. So you could have, it's like think of it like a bucket of ice cold water being thrown on someone, right? So like if for example you were a P. Diddy fan, and you'd always enjoyed his music and were a huge fan, and you heard allegations because these rumors have been going on a while about P. Diddy, and he had defenders, he had people saying this was all false, but then one day you see the video of him brutally beating that woman. Well, then that's undeniable at that point. It's a shock to the system. You come out of your propagandizing, and then that kind of event causes you to start to question who you'd been trusting or believing in the past, right? So those kind of like really huge moments. So like if in this case, for example, if people were of the belief that Seth absolutely is guilty, he's got to have something to do with it, and then one day someone else is in handcuffs, well, that will be shocking to them. That might make them question, whoa, but all these people I've been listening to, they've all assured me that Seth must have had some kind of part to play in this. And they might come out of it, or they might make irrational excuses to why Seth got away with it, or this person was framed or something. That can happen too, but those kind of jolts to reality are one way that you can bring people out of the hypnosis, essentially. Another is really just the individual has to kind of have that little spark in their mind where they start to question things and notice things that they start to see it themselves, that kind of intuition, and they start to listen to it. That is another way. The only way that I think that we as people can help people out of those situations, whether it's in true crime or really any situation at all, it has to be from a place of love and kindness. You can't get combative with people like that. You can't. If you do, I'm sure everyone has seen these in political debates, probably on your Facebook over the last month or so. People will get into these debates about politics, and it's not really about changing minds. It's about, scoring points on each other, right? Getting the right insult or dunking on each other and that kind of thing. That stuff doesn't actually change or work. What can work is the Socratic method of being the friend to the person, asking the question gently, and not answering it for them. Let them answer the question, So if you say someone in real life that really thinks that Seth has something to do with it, then you can just simply ask questions like, "Well, okay, so you think Seth was involved? Well, why do you think he's been begging the FBI to get involved for the last few months? What is that about? Why do you think that Dog the Bounty Hunter and his team came in, and that Seth was thrilled about that? Or what do you think the angle is with all these vigils that he's holding? And why is he begging the Cold Case Foundation to come in? Because if they solve the case, then wouldn't that mean that he might, go to jail if he's involved? You pose questions, but don't answer them for them. You've got to let them find. It's always stronger if people can find knowledge for themselves and not be told what to think. If they can discover it with just a little gentle prodding, it is one way to start waking people up. And it usually doesn't come quickly, because we all have egos, and no one wants to believe they've been fooled or conned for any length of time. I mean, you got to think, like, if someone has been giving lots of money to someone that's been deceiving them, well, that's not going to be easy to accept. To wake up and go, wow, I've given this person hundreds of dollars and lots of my time, and they lied to me about the 3-hour break that Seth had at the jail. They lied to me about Petito's father not being threatened. They assured me that that was all a hoax, or that Seth was all of this in for the money and never monetized his channel. Things of that nature. People will, it's hard to accept that you've been fooled or conned. So you got to be gentle with it, and it can take some time. But the Socratic method, I think, it's great for all forms of learning, but to have people come to conclusions and find truth for themselves, if you can do it, is best, I think.
I've got a dog wrapped up in my head. So those are the three
that way. And I want to, can we play the news segment?
Sure. I did want to address something real quick, though.
Sure.
Let's see.
Legal extraction with Julie McClellan. The shock value would have to be in relation to the level of indoctrination, correct? Do you have a link to a study or reference? Not being difficult, I'm serious. I know these studies exist. Now, this is just my, this is not based on any single study. This is just a pet hobby of mine, is just reading on it. And this is just kind of stuff I absorb and study. So it's really, this list I provided is my own list. Just my own. There are other lists out there that'll have like, 7 and 8 things. I kind of disagree with some of them. So this is my own personal list that way. But I'm sure there are studies that back it up. I don't know of any offhand, though. I know it's not difficult at all.
No, we don't. Yeah.
So let's play the. So we're going to play the news segment that was on yesterday. Some of you may have seen it, some of you haven't. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to play it is what I think that people do not understand is that, or some people don't, is how I would just want to watch the news segment and think of it in terms of public perception, what they're hearing, what they're seeing, not us, not like true crime people, not people that are here every day watching multiple videos
Right.
and reading articles, and not us. Think of average Joe, got home from work, throws on the TV, and this is what they see.
Yeah.
So I want you to think of what they're seeing and how their thoughts are being shaped by this.
And yeah, that's what I was going to say. So try to think like you're a person that's not in this YouTube bubble, you know, every day. So
maybe you heard about it back in February. You see a flyer occasionally at the store.
you'll see a lot of these people in like the Nick Barris posts.
Yeah.
They'll reply in
Kind of think of it from their perspective. Try to see what they're seeing.
Okay.
Well, a teenager out of Sumner County still missing now 7 months later. And several agencies and groups have searched for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, but there's been no new information from law enforcement. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry spoke with Sebastian's biological father about the search timeline and its progress.
7 months have come and gone.
The search for missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. He believes Sebastian is still alive.
With no sight of missing Sumner County teen Sebastian Rogers.
This is 7 months. It's almost been, after 6 months. I mean, it's just like I thought we would have found him by now. Month 1 was intense for the first half of it. It seemed like there was a lot of people that were on board trying to find Sebastian. And then after that, it became a circus.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing from his home in Hendersonville on February 26th. Several agencies spent more than a week searching the area around his home, including a landfill in Kentucky, before scaling the search back to an investigative format.
We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
But community members continued bringing awareness by handing out flyers and posters. Following the search for Riley Strain, the United Cajun Navy came in to help, but in less than a week, pulled back their search efforts after several threats.
Just because you pick up a phone and start recording, you can either help with that or you can hinder.
Since they scaled back the search, Sumner County law enforcement have not reported any new information.
We get tips and stuff that were coming in. We didn't know if law enforcement was following up on them or not. And now that we have Dog's team, he has a whole team of attorneys, lawyers, private investigators.
The FBI recently announced a $50,000 reward for information following that announcement. Dog the Bounty Hunter joined in on the search, raising that reward to $100,000. But for now, Seth Rogers holds on to the hope that his son is still alive.
And every day I wake up hoping that I get the phone call today that, hey, we found Sebastian.
And clings to the 15 years of memories he shared with Sebastian.
I remember changing diapers. I remember making him bottles. I remember taking him swimming. I remember taking him fishing.
In Nashville, Caitlin Quisenberry, News 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm going to take that.
Obviously, people, seeing Sebastian's face, I mean, he's got that great smile. Everybody's.
Aww.
Well, thank you, Legal Extraction with Julie McClellan, for becoming a member.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm enjoying all of your thoughts here too.
What did I do?
Video?
What did I know? It just started
We brought
playing
you here
something
today to
crazy.
let you know that we made the business decision to switch to ClickUp.
Did I stop it?
It's gonna be worse when you're gone.
Okay, I know.
I'm not
right?
gonna do any videos when you're gone. It's just gonna be me talking. There's no way I'm gonna fool.
Well, I think people would like that. I think I might be a distraction. Welcome to the Crime Dogs Legal Extraction with Julie McClellan. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us.
Yes, thank you so much. And I so when you watch that video, of course, people are going to be reminded of the Sebastian story. There's that part of it that gets the emotional pull. Everybody wants this kid found. That's 100%. And then the rest of the video you're watching, I was like, okay, well, there's Dad. Dad's really upset. He's out there hunting for the kid and trying to bring him home. And then you see Dog the Bounty Hunter. Then you start hearing this weird stuff about death threats. You hear death threats from YouTubers and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so immediately they're villain, right? To the public perception. The YouTubers that are against Seth are the villains in this story, right?
Right.
And then the other big takeaway I think people start to have, of course, is Dog the Bounty Hunter's here. That's great. What wonderful news and all of that. And but then you also it's a long segment, and people are sitting there going, "Where's Mom? Where's the mom?" Why isn't she in the segment? They don't even mention her. I don't think, do they? I don't know if they.
They don't, and it's probably because what did you tell me the date was of the last time?
I was looking at a list of all their interviews and videos and stuff. It's been May 23rd is the last time that she's spoken in any kind of interview, informal, formal, or of any type. So she went through an entire season, like summer, like the whole season of summer is come and gone, and she has not made a public statement of any type. Unless you count the court appearances. So yeah, she has made public appearances to talk in court when she's been taking journalists to court.
Right.
To
So I think your point is to look at this from the average Joe, the average person who doesn't know every detail inside and out of this case,
right?
Who hasn't watched all the interviews repeatedly. Look at it from their perspective, and you will see that they're not winning the PR award here.
No, they've been losing it massively, and people think that this little YouTube corner matters, and it does, but it doesn't. It's the big population out there those are the people. Think of them as the swing voters almost.
Right. That's a great analogy.
Those are the people that have not made up their minds. They don't know what's going on. Dog the Bounty Hunter carries a lot of weight and a lot of credibility with him. There are people that absolutely adore him.
Well, his public perception's great.
Yeah,
he's a man that prays before every at the beginning of his show and at the end of his show.
He's a good example of brainwashing. Actually, when it was first announced that Dog was on the case, I went and looked at everything on the Facebook stuff about the announcement. It was 100% wonderful news.
Yeah.
Then the hate channels got involved and the propagandizing started.
Right.
And then the divide started.
Mm-hmm. We were excited.
Everyone was. Even probably people that watch the channels that are now telling their people that they can't like Dog anymore.
Right. Or that Dog's not doing anything.
Powerful. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah, that's the one I hear a lot is that Dog's not doing anything. Well, how are we supposed to know what Dog's doing? Dog's doing something. Dog's got a team. Dog's the face of a team.
Those lawyers aren't working for free.
Right. We were talking about this too.
Bruce Castor's not working for free.
Well, I was saying
the history he's had. So there's obviously money.
There's money involved.
But so anyway, that's an area they're losing there. And we do have a super sticker that came out.
I would like to say this to Irony Rose. Irony Rose says, I would be begging the media to speak to me so I could go on national news screaming out for my child. It's funny that you say that because I actually was going through, I've been doing kind of a side project. And I'm looking at parents that have no guilt of their child being gone and people that do have guilt. I've been doing a little side project. And today I was working on Riley Strain's mom. And it's just devastating. I almost can't even watch her.
Yeah, it's hard. She's hard to watch.
She's hard to watch because you can feel her pain.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a few weeks ago, Seth was on the lab and he's talking to Dr. Gary.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch that, wow. I was crying the whole time that he was talking. So anyway, I'm getting off topic,
but I know.
So I guess that was the question is, I think I lost my train of thought, but I think we were talking about,
that she was just saying that, she would be on the national news screaming for her child.
Right. And we were saying that, as public perception, what were you saying? That's your jury pool in the future.
It is.
Right.
It is.
So, let's see. And then we got a super sticker from Holly. Thank you so much, Holly. That is so sweet of you. And it was a thumbs up. You didn't get to see it. We got two computers running here. Look, isn't that sweet? Isn't that cute? A nice thumbs up. Thank you, Holly.
You so much, Holly.
I'm trying to find it so I can put it up. This thing's so weird. I'm so far behind y'all. That's one thing about having Aunt E here is she can help me with that stuff. I can't find her super sticker.
Oh yeah, I would too. Seems pretty paranormal. I would be begging news to come and interview, and I would be begging for help if BHB came to help me, and Tony and Nick and Dog. I would be grateful, of course.
Yeah. Thank you, Holly. That's so sweet of you. I'm going to give her some
Those are
stars.
things that you can't explain away either. You can't explain away the lack of never attending a single vigil, never organizing anything like that themselves, not speaking since May. Not when the reward came out, they wouldn't give Fox 17 a comment. It wasn't until Wednesday, 2 days later, that they offered a comment to a different station.
Mm-hmm.
And they had all that media there for Bullhorn Betty's last appearance. They had media wanting to talk to them. They had cameras right all over the place. They could have got the word out on Sebastian, held up a flyer, but they wouldn't speak, wouldn't talk to them. They didn't even have to work for that opportunity. They had, I think, 3 local networks and Court TV all there.
Oh, it looks like
any of them would have been glad to get a comment from them, and they just walked away.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going through chat a little bit. Linda Timmons says he took the best he took one of the best polygraph people in LE. That speaks volumes. That was Seth. Did that with Nancy Grace.
With Nancy Grace, yeah.
Well, then we have another person who is, this goes along with our thing. Linda, yeah, so so good he went to sleep during it. Great job, huh? Do you know what that means?
I don't know that.
Well, there's a rumor that he went to sleep during his polygraph.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's a rumor that is. I don't know if it's substantiated or not.
Not sure what difference it makes.
Yeah, it's just people arguing in chat, and I will just warn everybody that we don't accept arguing. Both sides will be booted. You can have an opinion, but don't be rude about it.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. A lot of these arguments that happen about Seth don't really matter. But what if he did fall asleep during the polygraph? He still was in the jail for 12 hours. He still didn't have the money to hire someone. You know what it would cost to hire someone to go up to Hendersonville, break into a Navy veteran's home who specialized in security in the middle of the night with 2 dogs to kidnap a child? I mean, multiple felonies you'd be committing. That'd be a $10,000 to $30,000 kind of pay you'd have to give out, and then you'd get blackmailed for the rest of your life by that person too. Right. So it would be a very expensive endeavor to hire someone to do something like that. And he didn't have the money to do that
on a jailer salary.
Right.
And this is another. I think K-Pick may need to go because why don't read that? But, I mean, I'm not going to even put it up on the screen, but if you have proof of that, K-Pick, because I don't believe that's true whatsoever. If you have proof of that, please feel free to email us. But that I don't.
What difference does it make too? I mean, what does that have to do with anything? It's all distractions, attacking people that are volunteering, looking through their criminal records, searching and slandering them, or what difference does it make? What kind of purity test do we need to have from people to volunteer and look for the child?
Right.
I don't know. Everybody's welcome to look for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't like that.
Yeah, I know. It's irrelevant, actually.
Yeah, and Rachel says he took it more than once with multiple people. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, his polygraph.
Yeah, and was willing to do it again.
Oh, that's actually what happened. I remember now. That is correct. If Seth's still in here, you can confirm it, I'm sure. He was taking medicine for his shoulder.
Oh, so he fell asleep for one with the police, and then Nancy Grace, he did not.
Yeah.
Okay. If Mrs. E says that, and you all say that's right, I don't know. I don't remember that part. Doesn't matter though. He's taken several, and he was willing. It again.
Well, here's another one. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He was in the jail. He has the rock solid alibi. Nothing really matters outside of that. It was impossible.
Well, not just that. What about Dog's Bluff with the sodium pentothal?
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Seth's like, sign me up. Let's do it.
Yep. I'll take truth serum. I'll get hypnotized. I'll do another polygraph.
Do whatever.
And what was the other 2 parents' response?
Yeah.
actions matter. Actions tell you a lot.
And we have a new member, Kelsey. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. And
welcome.
Wish a happy birthday to Elizabeth.
Oh, birthday? Uh-oh. Elizabeth, happy birthday.
Yeah,
awesome.
and we always
welcome, Kelsey. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah,
I'm like a puppy. I'm like, woo, squirrel. Let's wish Elizabeth a very happy birthday. We appreciate you being here and spending your time with us. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, and this is that too. There's no motive. There's no motive at all that makes any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no motive. He didn't have the means. He didn't have the opportunity. None of the three major things that
are required.
I mean, it's not funny because there are people that have fallen for this con, this hoax, but they have. What do you say? It's impossible. Present any kind of theory that makes any sense.
Kelsey,
why the timing like that? Why would, even if he were going to do it, why would he do it on the night that he was scheduled to work? Why wouldn't he just do it on his day off? That way he wouldn't have to worry about like faking time cards and being caught on camera and
driving 45 minutes or 35 minutes.
It just, there's just it's a reality disconnect. Kelsey says, by the way, polygraphs are hours long to do.
I've never had one. So.
And, it wouldn't surprise me if he hadn't been sleeping well for the last several weeks before that.
Yeah, no kidding.
So.
And Tiffany says, if Seth hired someone, that reward money would be gone by now. Criminals don't have a good history with keeping their mouth shut. That's another great thing right there.
He would, yes. And one of the things, this kind of stuff doesn't happen that often anyway, where you hire someone. It's harder to do than it sounds because most of those end up being stings and stuff with feds. When people try to hire these hitmen and stuff, it usually ends up being a sting. So it's harder to do than you might think. But when it does happen, you are often paying that person the rest of their life in blackmail, and that all gets traced too. And yeah, they'd flip by now.
My goodness, Casey is being so sweet to us. Casey gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Casey. I don't know who got them. I'm so far behind on chat. I try to really take in what you all are saying and try to answer it if I can, if this one's not talking. Let's see who got them. Let's see. Hen House, Rachel W., Tasha, Coco Honey, and Fun to Ski. They were all gifted a membership by Casey. And if you were gifted a membership, please tell Casey thank you. Give her a virtual hug. We appreciate you, Casey, so much. And people probably get tired of me doing this. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And sorry, hold on. Our thank you video.
And this kind of goes along with all of this. It's this.
Thank you, Casey.
Basically, everything comes down to being honest with yourself.
Ginger gifted a membership too.
Thank you, Ginger.
Thank you, Ginger.
Make sure you say thank you if you do get gifted these memberships. They always appreciate that as well. And but if so kind of going back to the beginning, what we were saying, if you are searching for truth, this is a quote that I love from Ayn Rand. Contradictions do not exist. Whenever you think you are facing a contradiction, check your premises. You will find that one of them is wrong. And so to me, that's a powerful quote. I think about it all the time, and I find myself sometimes in that situation with a lot of different topics. But this case does that. So.
I wasn't listening. Can you repeat it?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
You probably know this quote anyway.
Well, living with you, I get a lot of these really profound things said to me all the time. You guys can imagine.
I'm sure many of you have seen this one before. Ayn Rand, it's contradictions do not exist. Whenever you think you are facing a contradiction, check your premises. You will find that one of them is wrong. So that there are things you could think about in this case.
And thank you, Ginger, for we appreciate you. Sorry, I've gotten you off track
No, that's okay. What I wanted to do next actually is that last video, because this kind of sums up a lot of the thoughts, and I thought we could kind of go into discussion after this, because this was great to me. Let me see if I can. I don't know how you pronounce this guy's channel. I don't even know how I found this. I think it actually got recommended to me. Many of you probably know who it is because he's got a ton of subscribers. DRVN podcast with Leon Hendricks, and anyway,
that's a great. Facts do not matter to those who operate off of feelings.
True. There's another thought I have similar to this a lot of times is like sometimes when you're trying to have a logical discussion with people, you can't have one with someone that's being intellectually dishonest. So if you're talking to someone that has an agenda, that has a narrative they want to push, then there's really no point in having that discussion, because no amount of facts or information you give is going to make them come off that agenda. If it's like they've got an axe to grind, they want to be right, if it's that kind of situation.
I just want to acknowledge in HGG, I think the biggest thing is saying hi to subs. Thank you for doing that. It makes us feel important. You guys are important because, if we still had our one viewer, we probably would have stopped this a long time ago, right?
Oh yeah, no,
we never expected to be. Well, that's not true. We never expected to be here at this point. We never expected. We thought we would be struggling for 100 people.
Yeah. Subs. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah. We had no idea that this would be like this, and that we didn't have any thought that we would ever have this kind of reception. And I think
and we appreciate you guys so much, because you've welcomed us in with open arms, and we appreciate you for that.
Yeah, we had every intention of doing this for free, because we were frustrated, actually, a little. I mean, it was part of the motivation, is we were frustrated with the conversation that was going on, that it wasn't fact-based, that it was agenda-driven a lot of times, or on gossip and rumor and such. And there wasn't really a lot of theorizing that was open to being challenged. We've enjoyed the conversation with everyone, and testing theories and talking it out with everyone, and feeling safe to do that, and not feeling like we can brainstorm in a safe area and not get attacked for having a different thought.
Right.
So that's what we were hoping to create here, was a space like that for us. And apparently a lot of you have been looking for that too, and have appreciated that. And so we're very thankful to have everyone that's here, subscriber, or even if you're not subscribing, just watching, and commenting. And I love the interaction and talking.
I love this name.
I'm retired. Don't expect nothing out of me. I will keep those expectations low. Honestly, I find you guys to be the most humble and honest folks covering Sebastian's case. Thank you.
That is so
thank
kind
you so
of
much.
You. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
And
I love your name.
I'm
not that creative.
I definitely react to positive reinforcement.
Aww.
All the comments.
Sent us a super sticker.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. And look, it's an avocado. It says cool. Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Yeah, we're like the little dogs we were talking about later.
We are.
When we get the bacon bits and people say, "Hey, good job."
It does feel good. It feels good to be told good job. Everybody likes an attaboy.
Yeah, it does. We do. We read all the comments. I try to respond to as many as I can, and we appreciate all of it. We really do. I hope we're bringing some value. I hope this was interesting tonight. I do want to do, if we could do the, feel some responsibility to make sure we do good work and research and all of that. So I hope we all got some value out of what we're doing. I think the video I want to do, I think is a nice way to.
You're just being so sweet to us. I can't even help it. I'm going to start tearing up. Guys, don't make me cry tonight. It's not pretty.
It's happened a couple of times.
I've had to walk out of the room from crying.
It has happened a couple of times too, especially early on with it. Could we do the video? Because I just want to.
Which one did you want to? Oh, the last one. We're skipping over this one, right? No, we already done that.
I didn't do elevator, did I?
That's okay.
I forgot. It's okay. The point was made in the study.
Elevator's only 2 minutes.
This is the one with DRVN.
This
the
one.
10 minute. Yeah. So this is Chase Hughes. Some of you probably know who he is. He's a brainwashing expert, essentially. And this is a very long interview with him, but this particular part stood out to me. And
I have to get it ready, so you can look in chat and talk.
Yeah, he's I think he's on the behavioral panel, probably other places too. But this conversation was all really good. It's not so much about brainwashing. He actually talks more about like psychopathic behavior and deception and things of that nature. And a lot of it would apply to any true crime case, but it certainly made me think of this one a lot too.
I need to make it bigger. All right, I'm going to take
some of you may have seen it. I don't know. I think it just got recommended in my feed, I think is what happened.
Well, it's probably because you've been looking at this stuff.
Probably
right there you go. Yeah. All right, I'm going to play it. And then you need to tell me to stop because I did not write where you told me to stop.
12:10.
Okay.
So just a little over 2 minutes.
They're authentic. The fastest way to read a human being, number one way, is to keep one question in your head. It is, what does this person want me to feel about them? And what do they want me to notice? Number one. So what do they want me to notice about them? And that's going to show you the beginnings of understanding the mask that people wear. Because everyone wears some kind of a mask. And I'm not talking about a COVID mask, but I'm talking about like a persona that I put onto the world. And the way that I teach this to military and government is the mask is made up of the things that this person built to conceal shame.
To conceal, and shame is what we put on when we feel like we're not enough.
Yeah, shame is, I shouldn't have done that. I'm a bad person for doing that. I need to hide it. And not agreeing with something in our past or something that we're ashamed of. And shame today is institutionalized. It's a public weapon to use shame. You could just log into Twitter and you'll see it in 30 seconds. You'll see how shame is being weaponized. So shame creates cognitive dissonance, which is a mental discomfort. Mental discomfort says, I don't want to be this uncomfortable in front of people. That creates a mask. So we wear these personas and these masks to cover up something. So if you see somebody, 90%, 99% of us have a mask. And this is the population of Earth. How thin it is, how thick it is, that's what changes and what the mask is made of. So if I'm seeing somebody who's acting like he's posturing all the time, he's yelling, he's like just puffing his chest out, the mask is usually the opposite of what it's concealing. So I'm seeing a fearful little boy that's afraid of being hurt.
A chihuahua.
Yeah, I'm seeing a chihuahua that's barking. And if I bark enough, no one's going to hurt me. And that's what I'm really seeing there. That's what a mask is.
And then I guess.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then
I thought that was so good.
It's very powerful. And Harley asked me to put this in chat. Yes. This is the whole video is kind of fascinating.
It goes in a lot of different directions.
I'm going to put it in chat so you guys can watch it at a different time. We'd like it if you'd stay here for now. But if you feel very moved and want to go watch it right now, I'm not going to blame you. It's really a good video. Yeah. It is about 3 hours long though.
Well, there were a lot of things just in that little 2 minutes, but it's so the thing about the masks and what people are putting on is it really reveals an insecurity about who you are, who you want to be, or how you want to be perceived, and all of that. Just really interesting. And they actually have a longer conversation about that. But of course, I'm going to guess a lot of us thought the same thing about the Chihuahua, the barking, the posturing. It made me think of Chris, of course, because of just the over the top way that he has behaved with people. Makes you think that he really is masking a lot of toughness, and that's what it made me think of him, the puffing and all of that, and that's sort of his mask in these situations, is to act like the tough guy, and then I think they talk about their own masks later on, and how they want to be perceived and such, and so anyway, it was just interesting. So. It sort of applies to people if they're trying to manipulate you, or to mass media, or whatever it is. What are they wanting us to see? Do they, so I don't know. It's just something to kind of keep in mind. What are they presenting to you with their posture? Are they trying, are they trying to show you meekness? Are they trying to show you that they're easy to get along with? Are they listening to you, or do they want to control the conversations, and why? But anyway, they go into all of this, and it's all to me fascinating.
What was it? Were you going to ask people what they thought the masks were, or? Tia Nurse has a question that's off topic, so I know you're going to want to answer her, but
because as I said earlier, I'm in the Tennessee cult, and
right,
I've been effectively brainwashed by the university, so I always, of course, have to acknowledge my fellow.
Lady Tit for Tat says 100% a mystery, 100% so defensive and proclaiming of innocence.
Yeah. This is something he goes into too, like about that. What are they? What is the person trying to communicate? Did I interrupt you?
No, not at all. I'm trying to read chats. I'm like going back and forth because this one's faster than this one.
What is the person trying to achieve? So when I think back on those interviews, especially this first 4 or 5, it's almost all they're trying to convince you that they're innocent. It's really what most of those interviews are.
I think so. I think that KP comes off, tries to, I don't know personally. I can't say, I have no frame of reference, but comes off as meek.
Yeah. Wants a weak appearance is what she's projecting.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're right. Actually, they might have dual.
Yes.
Different.
Well,
because when I think of the interviews, I actually just think more of Chris than I do her, but because he does the majority of the talking. But they might have different.
There's different masks depending. I think there might be different masks depending on. I think CP's is pretty consistent with kind of keeping control of everything. That's kind of a mask there, and then I think it depends on the interview because she. KP in like the Nancy Grace was very stern and short, almost like military like in her answers. So anyway,
sure.
Tia Nurse has a question. She wants, I don't know if you're wanting to talk about this or not.
Where am I with? So, okay, Mr. E, where are you at with the lights video? Do you think the date is wrong and it was indeed from the night of? If so, why and how is the date off in your opinion? I think
that's tough. But it's tough for me. It's not tough for him. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Logical.
Well, I think the lights video. This isn't something I feel 100% on at all. I think the lights video is authentic. I think it came from their house. I think law enforcement leaked it, which would lead me to believe that they know that it's genuine evidence and that they were doing it to shake them up and let them know that they had some stuff and make them have to wonder what else they had. So I think it's authentic. As far as the time goes, I don't know. I mean, the jammer theory and all of that, it's possible. But I don't know. It's right now based off of what we're hearing third hand from anonymous neighbors, But I think if I'm putting money on it, I'm guessing that the flashlights are what it looks like, that it's someone leading Sebastian away from the home. And I also think that I think he left the home alive also based on that video. I don't know if he is now, but I think he left alive that way. But I could certainly be wrong. That's just my.
Well, this is a good point.
My thought.
That's a good point.
Ginger for Ob, I guess I think about wearing a mask as superficial. We all wear a social mask. We are different in public and in our roles as professionals than we are at home.
Absolutely. Sure. We all have, I think we have multiple masks that we wear each day.
Yeah, for sure. We all do that. And that's why he was saying, 99% of us do masks. It's just to what extent. And later he goes into the psychopath, where the mask of the psychopath can be very different. That's why he was saying, that's what he was hinting at with some masks are thin and some masks are different. Like a psychopath is hiding a very dark potential they have, and whatever they're portraying is truly not reality. They're faking their way almost through life. You know, it's a total facade.
Right. It's chilling to think about how fake it is.
Of course, when I'm not here, I'm sillier with the kids. And if I'm hanging with the guys, you know, it's different.
Maybe you'd be a little more crass.
Yeah, of course. I'm doing jokes and things with them, with the boys, than I'm doing here at home. And of course, you know, we all behave a little differently depending on our environment. That doesn't mean it's not phony. I mean, I'm still myself. It's just
it's a different
different mask we wear.
Yeah,
we're different around our parents than when we're with total strangers. You know, all those things.
And
to a certain degree, but what he gets into later is basically the psychopath being like, it's almost hard to tell just on the surface with the mask. They can do a lot to.
They've mastered it because they've been doing it their whole lives.
Yeah, he talks about how it's very difficult to detect them until after they've revealed it. Harley Ryder says, when COVID hit, I think a lot of people felt very comfortable with their masks on, and I think a lot of those people never wanted to take them off.
That's very insightful.
Yeah,
that's a you know, even though it's a metaphorical mask, I think you know, for me personally, it got very hard for me to want to. I like to be at home now, where I was a person that was go all the time. I traveled a lot for my work, and I enjoyed it. But once COVID hit and a variety of other terrible things, I started to be more of an introvert, and I stayed home a lot more. And now it's, you know, the errands mostly get done by Mr. E and stuff because I'm so much more comfortable at home. So that's a different mask I have. So,
yeah, that definitely affected you that way.
It affected me, and I struggle with it. I still struggle with it. I struggle with it every day. I feel better when I get outside and do things and leave the house. But, you know, being able to work from home and, you know, everything's here. It makes it, you know, you can have everything shipped to your door now and everything. It's really hard.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want food. Okay. Or you don't want to make food. Okay. I can have it brought to me, or I can have something in 24 hours from Amazon, or, you know, what have you. It made it easy. And so I struggle with that. I'm working on that every day.
I think this is interesting. I was in a relationship with a narcissist for 10 years. He lied about everything. He had himself convinced that his lies were the truth and never skipped a beat when telling them.
Oh, wow.
I wonder what would that trait be, where you believe you can convince yourself of your own lies. There's probably
it's called an actor. I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a really interesting thought too. You guys are always so smart. I love our chat. Our chat is so smart. You guys are always kind of making me think. That's a great. Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of people are relating to you on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead and try to stop reading everybody so intently. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
I'll scoot down. I'm really far behind.
I've heard
we've got another new member, Harley Ryder.
Oh, thank you, Harley.
Thank you so much. See, that's how far behind I am.
Yeah, I somehow I missed it too. Well, thank you for doing that.
We appreciate you, and I love it. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us.
And I want to ask about this because I've seen a few people. I've actually never watched a Silver on the Scene video, but I've heard people talk well.
Well, Auntie is a huge fan.
I know she is. I just it's just so many people you can't watch it all. But so I saw a few people in the chat talk about this. Silver on the Scene got some good info tonight. He went to CP's job and talked to some coworkers.
Yeah, I've been.
So that's
seeing that.
Tonight's video, I guess. So we'll check that out.
We will. And Nick's back. Hi, Nick. Hey.
I hadn't heard a lot about Silver on the Scene in a bit, so I guess he's back at it. But yeah, I know I need to check him out. Auntie has talked very highly of his videos. It's just, there's so many people out there. And
I haven't seen Zoots and Boots in a while.
Hi, Zoots and Boots. Harley, it's sadly fascinating knowing how pathological the lies can be. It's almost an art. They surround themselves in delusions of success or failure based off moods they refuse to regulate.
Wow. See, that's what I'm saying. We've got the smarties. I love it. I love it.
Somebody's saying sociopathic. Would that be believing your own lies? The sociopath?
Let's see.
Very good.
Aw. NHGG gave us another super sticker. I can't wait to see what this one is.
Oh, yeah. Because I never can see the stickers on.
Look, it's a thumbs up avocado. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, StreamYard needs to get that like connection where you can put those two together.
I forgot to mention this. So there's a did you see the announcement that they're going to do another vigil in November?
Actually,
is that wrong?
You told me that you saw it, but I have not seen it. Oh, Nick says 10-4. Oh, 10-4.
10-4, like yes,
like
not the date.
Oh my stars!
That's gonna be October 4th.
No, it's not.
Watch all the confusion there. Yeah. So I think it's. Well, we'll announce it later anyway. We'll put it on our stuff.
I actually, if Seth is in,
I think it's on the November 9th or somewhere around there. It may not be the right date, but anyway, there's going to be another vigil sometime early November.
Oh. NHGG, you do not have to send us a dime. You just being here and participating. We just appreciate you being here. You don't have to send us a dime, but that is so sweet of you. That is very, very sweet of you.
Yeah, we don't expect that at all from people. We won't,
but it means a lot. It does. It means a lot that you did that. And please don't feel like you have to, though. Oh my goodness, no.
No, not at all. I hope nobody feels like that's expected or necessary. We just we look at things like that as I don't know, just an appreciation that people are doing. But I totally understand not. Yeah, I mean, we don't do paywalls, anything like that. Our conversations, our show, our streams, they're all free. There's people that financially can support the channel, and that's great, and we appreciate that. But not expected, or we don't look down in any way on, people that are not members or subscribers or any of those kinds of things at all. It's just, no, all are welcome here. So we don't think anything of that. Anyway, feel bad that anybody might feel that way. Actually,
no, we don't want you to feel that way. It is appreciated. It does help us cover costs and stuff. Yeah. We're not discounting that either. No, we just don't want anybody to feel like they have to.
No, all are welcome here. Absolutely. Misty Fisher.
Hi, Misty. Welcome in.
Misty says, any updates? I haven't been on since early this morning on my time on Hey Sweet Tea channel.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
What?
Look, Josh.
Oh, hey, Josh.
Oh, thank you.
We were talking
so
about
much.
you a little earlier.
Now I am going to cry. Oh, stars.
You don't have to do that, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. That is so sweet of you. You don't, might be a good time. First of all, I told Mr. E that I think you guys might be kindred spirits, because I think that you have a lot of similar traits, and you also have a lot of the same likes. I'll just put it that way. We listened to your Lab After Dark. It was very good last night. It was. I laughed till I cried. And
oh yeah, you did have her a few times.
You had me going, and I don't laugh. I don't laugh at comedy very often. It has to catch me off guard. But thank you so much. That means so much to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are great. So we always love your stuff. And I didn't realize I wasn't subbed up to the Lab After Dark. So I did that.
Yeah, I had to show him.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that was going on. So
that makes my heart.
So I'm now on that channel too.
Yeah. I think we have, let's see. I think the moderator should have the lab. I don't think I have the Lab After Dark though. Oh, he said, thank you guys too. I mean, yeah, we really, really appreciate your show in a variety of ways. And I didn't realize how much I appreciated Lab After Dark till today. We were sitting here on the porch this morning, drinking coffee, listening to it. Cause we fall asleep early.
Yeah. We're not watching it after dark. We have to watch
now,
after dark during the day.
Usually on show nights, though. If you're going live tonight, I could probably be awake for it because I drink too much coffee. But thank you so much. That means a whole lot, because we really respect you. Not that we don't respect everybody else, but I really, really, really like Josh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Actually, we need to become lab rats. Isn't that a cute name?
That's a good. Yeah, that worked. It's yeah.
Thank you, well. Lady T, Lady Tit for Tat. She's the best. No crying, Mrs. E. You guys, you have our early episodes. We would start talking about people losing people, and I would cry so much. Oh,
this is an interesting thought I had not had before. So Alicia says, "Oh, I do too, Mama Bear. You know something else that kind of shows Ellie believes Sebastian is alive, hidden somewhere. They work much faster when an unaliving has occurred. An example is Mamta's case." That's a good point. And that is, on the FBI reward, they say the safe return of Sebastian. They could have just said information that leads to the arrest and conviction or something, but they did have at the beginning either the safe return of Sebastian or the conviction of the perpetrator. So
that gives
it is one of those things. It gives you some hope, and I think he left alive. I really do. So maybe they don't know what happened after either exactly. We don't know what they know, but you're right.
That's a great point.
It's a good point. They might think that there's a chance, and that might be why they're being so cautious with a lot of things.
I have to say thank you.
No crying in true crime.
I know you. I just get overwhelmed by it.
Yes, thank you very much.
I really do. Thank you so much. What is it? 4-2. Wait, I can't. My eyes. Will you read it? 421G.
421 GTO guy.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
Yeah, we've seen him in the chat before, I think. Grandma wants to know. Nick wants to know: does he need to send out U.S. Marshals for Aunt E? She had tickets tonight, so she had an event.
We have to just go. And I'm actually
weekend.
Really jealous of it, but I don't want to. I don't know. Is that considered doxing if I tell what event she's at?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of.
Until it's over, at least she can tell that later if she wants to.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to go through the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see. You guys are awesome. Let's see. Sorry.
I know this was kind of like a different kind of stream for us with this kind of topic, but it's just what I kept thinking about watching all this stuff playing out.
There's a great question. Do you guys like this kind of topic?
It was a little broader.
Yeah, it's a little more
broad. A little broader. But I think it applies to this and many other cases. It does keep the hope alive.
It does.
FBI does not want to look bad, so they do not make arrests until they have enough to bury you. By the time they come get you, your goose is cooked. Yeah, right. The success rate they don't want to miss on.
Well, that's a whole other show that we were talking about. Is what the FBI does and doesn't do. Do they? They don't put out a $50,000 reward for someone who walked away, no matter what anybody tells you. They don't do that.
I still hear occasionally people do the runaway. It's not a missing teen.
No,
he's not a runaway teen.
That is X'd out. That should be marked off of your list of possibilities.
Anyone that says that anywhere should get challenged immediately and be told, "Give me an example." So this is actually Socratic we were talking about earlier. If somebody says, "Oh, well, no, I think he was a runaway. He's out there traveling the country or whatever they think,"
then that's somebody who hasn't really thought it through.
Then you can ask, okay, well, can you provide me an example of any time in the history of the FBI where they've offered a $50,000 reward for a runaway teen? And
sure.
And then just wait, see what they say.
Right.
Because it's never happened.
Right.
So we know we have made progress in terms of just critical thinking and deductive and reasoning and all that. We have made progress because we've eliminated Seth as a possible suspect, and we've eliminated runaway as a possible theory.
Right. So that only leaves.
All it leaves is he either was abducted or unalived. And there's kind of like three main categories of people. It's either people inside the house, or it's people close to the child, like uncles, grandparents, aunts, pastors, teachers, something like that, or it's a total stranger. That's it. That's really all this.
And the
that's all that's
statistics
left.
are low for total stranger.
Total stranger is very, very low. So it's really most likely in the house or someone very familiar with him. And that's really, total stranger is a very, very tiny percentage. And so it's most likely one of those two options. And that's why Katie's so important. That's why she needs to be really the one talking, especially if she's innocent, because she's the one that has clues and information about Sebastian's habits, who he knows, where he went, people that knew him. She would be the one to know that in that area, where Chris really doesn't, isn't useful for that. It should be Katie, if she's innocent, out there sharing as much information about him and his habits, who he knows, where he went, which playgrounds he frequented, which churches did he go? I think they said they went to various churches, but I don't even know which was their. Did they have a main church? Did they? I don't know.
You would be looking at all of that.
You need to be looking at it, because it's one of those three possibilities. That's all that's left. And with her not talking, it tells a lot, and it doesn't help if they're innocent.
Misty sent us a super chat. Thank you so much, Misty. You absolutely don't have to do that either, but we do appreciate it. You're so sweet. You want to read it for her? And
Yes. Hello to Sebastian's army. God bless each one of y'all and y'all's loved ones. We will not stop until Sebastian is found. No, definitely not.
And yep. Did I do the right video? I might have done the happy birthday.
I am hopeful. I think there's lots of good things happening. I think, like I've said, my guess is that there will be a lot of answers here over the next few months. I think we'll know what happened by this time next year, and I think we'll be doing trials. I think we'll be covering trials, Mrs. E. You and I at Sumner County.
He's been saying that we're going to be covering trials.
I'm an optimist. That's my bias on situations. I'm definitely optimistic about things, but I do believe that that's the case. I think everything's pointing in that direction. Do you have anything you want to talk about before we go?
Rosebud had a good comment I liked.
Just remember, put your beliefs and values first before being influenced by another's narrative. Stay true to you.
And then Fun to Ski says,
it helps expands one's brain cells to take in all information, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that might be okay. Oh my gosh. I did not. I would have to confirm that to be true to our process. But
Arctic Wolf is a creator, I think, correct?
Don't.
Maybe not.
I
don't know. Well, anyway, welcome in Arctic Wolf Angel. This is the highest reward I have seen the FBI put out in my over 30 years to be an advocate for victims. Yeah, I mean that was a whopper of a reward.
I felt like it was a very aggressive reward.
Yeah,
kind of to shake things up a bit.
I mean, you see the 10,000s, the 5,000s, and that kind of thing, but 50 grand was something else. So there was some strategy there. I don't know what it was.
You guys have the best name.
I agree. FBI reward is to get someone to snitch. No cameras caught Seb sneaking out. And that's the other thing. That means they've got an idea of who the snitch might be and what their price might be. And what early on, when that reward first came out, my interpretation of that was that reward isn't so much a reward as it is the first offer. It's the opening offer in a negotiation. It's to let them know that they're serious and that they've got a lot of evidence and they're close, but they need that last little bit to get them over the finish line. And the first person to come play ball gets the deal, and the last person there gets nothing. And we don't know. It's possible somebody's already flipped.
Nola's mom says, I'm going to add that in my opinion. Nola's.
Right.
Okay.
I'm guessing right.
I'm adding the in my opinion.
Sure. In my opinion, I don't think he was abducted because they would have let the public know that there was an abduction that occurred in their neighborhood for the safety of the other children in the neighborhood.
And I don't know, we have newer people in here that may not realize.
They meaning the police, I think.
Right. You know, we're local to Sumner County, so and we have a child with autism, so that the thought of a child with autism going missing was terrifying, or that someone was abducting children with autism is terrifying to us. Yes. And so that has been my biggest, not that I want him found, of course, you know, we all want him found, but my thing is if there's a real danger of abduction in the area, the police need to be letting us know, especially if it's like targeted towards special needs kids.
Right.
I'm not trying to be, you know, silly about that. I mean, it's just.
Well, if it were a stranger and it were a type,
right,
that stranger was attracted to, our son fits that profile.
Right.
So, you know, it's something we've had in the back of our mind and wanting to know. And we know of course, you know, because we have a special needs child, we know lots of other folks that have special needs kids through just school and things like that. And they have similar concerns too. But yeah, I think if they thought it was a stranger abduction, I think they probably would have let us know that also.
Yeah,
they would have done some kind of announcement like, hey, if you've got, you know, keep the kids in at night, something, you know, if you're curious. So Fiddle DD says, if you're curious about how thorough the FBI is, read the Department of Justice press release. It's highly thorough. Yeah, they're not playing around.
Well, you've said this before. I love it when you go through the whole so-and-so had to approve this. And you know, I love that.
Oh yeah. So you know, and this is really what I got from Coffin Daffer, and she's mentioned it a few times, but she mentioned it as soon as the reward came out, that for this to happen, you know, there has to be a file on an FBI agent's desk that he works on, and he might have 20 cases or 30, whatever he's got, but or she, and they've got to present effort and work to their boss every period, however, every 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is, and the boss has got to say, so what are you doing on the Sebastian Rogers case? Well, we're talking to this snitch over here. We're working a deal with this guy and whatever. Mm-hmm. And at some point, that agent had to go to their superior before the reward came out and say, look, this is what I've got. I've got this evidence. I've got this video. We've got this GPS. We've got this guy talking over here. We've got some DNA there, whatever they've got. But I really need a little more to get this thing done. I think that Cousin Bob or whatever was involved, and he's got some major debts. He's about to lose his house, whatever. I think if we throw up a $50,000 reward, I think Cousin Bob will come and talk to us, and we can get this thing done. And you know, whatever that conversation is, then that superior had to take that proposal to headquarters at some point, probably through a couple of steps, and headquarters had to go, yeah, we approve this. Right. I think your plan's going to work. And let's put them on the top 10 FBI cases on our website. On top of that,
I mean, yeah,
which was another big move, which is a power move from them.
It's a lot of it's aggressive.
It's very aggressive.
I would love to hear Coffindoffer talk more about that. Actually,
I would too.
And Rosebud says the key too is that the FBI put up the reward, not a private citizen. It is. That is the key. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And then,
even if you disregard, a lot of people, you know, think the dog and Nick thing is not real. But even if you disregard that, you're still left with a $50,000 FBI reward.
Sure. So. And that's probably all negotiable.
Let's see. And then
if you've got the right information.
Everybody wants you to watch Silver's video. Donna wants you to watch it.
I saw at least 3 or 4 people mention it.
It must be great. So we'll watch it after. I promise. I promise we will. We don't want to show it on the show because we don't know what it says. So we like to review our stuff before we put it up.
Yeah, and I don't really like to play people's entire videos and stuff like that.
No,
anyway.
Gosh, no, I would never do that.
That's not really kind of the way we want to do things. Detroit Rock City says, we love everything you talk about. I love to learn new things in adult conversation, giving a different perspective on such a delicate topic. Love you guys and your enlightening content.
Oh,
thank you,
that is
Detroit
so sweet. You guys are so sweet to us. I swear.
It's definitely hard because you're talking about a child here. And so it is touchy. It is tough.
Oh, Ginger wants to know. Okay, so we have 2 fur babies. We have Brownie And we have Bailey. Bailey is they're our sweet puppies.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Bailey is the brother of Auntie's dog at her house.
Speaking of the crime dogs,
they probably.
Why don't you talk to chat for just a second? Let me check on things because that scares me.
They probably need to go out.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going on.
We can have Middle E take them out.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. You talk Gymnastics 101.
Well, thank you so much, Gymnastics 101.
Can you put it up on the screen?
I think I did.
Do you know how to do the video? Do you think you can figure it out?
No.
You have to hit brand, and then you can do thank you, or you can do the stars. Which one do you think you can handle?
Do stars.
Okay. You say thank you, and I'll do the stars.
Thank you, Gymnastics 101. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it.
My crime dog will sit in my seat while I find.
I think he will, actually. That was hilarious. Yeah, so we actually Crime Dog started because we originally started, we would record in the guest bedroom, and the bed would be back behind us, and the dogs, for some reason, would just go crazy, like chasing each other all over the bed, and so we'd have these pups going nuts.
So we moved it to the dining room. Okay, you want to go potty?
I know. It was like they heard their names and lost their minds, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And Bailey's the smarter of the two. He's a very, very smart dog.
Am I still doing stars? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Mally Cat gifted a membership. Thank you, Mally Cat. Let's see who got it. I can't see.
Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing the Silvers thing.
Lisa got it. Lisa Opinion, I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Thank you so much.
And I've been meaning to check out his channel. I just haven't gotten around to it.
That is so sweet. We really do appreciate it, guys. Like I said before, it feels like just an attaboy. Like, hey, you did a great job. So thank you both. Thank you, Gymnastics 101. That was so sweet.
Yeah, no, this mom. I don't think this has ever been answered that I can recall.
Thank you.
In my opinion, I haven't heard anyone really speak as to TB's whereabouts the morning Sebastian was reported missing. We've heard CB was there, but what about TB? Just something I've always wondered, in my opinion. I don't recall anyone ever mentioning him.
If Nick is still here, Dorothy, is there a certain time or a certain day or time we need to light it up with green? I think all the time until Sebastian comes home. I think that's the idea. And we actually made I don't know if Nick's still in here or not. He might enjoy our light bulb, our green light lighted up for Sebastian emojis that we made for our members. It's kind of like a special member thing. Do you see? I'm so good for you, Nick. I'm proud of you. We're not the most exciting.
Nick is still here.
But we made special emojis for our members so they could light it up as well.
For future reference, funny reference, your dog's barking made its way to one of Dog's task force group chats. Just in case.
Oh, my stars.
That was hilarious.
Okay, so I don't know now if Nick's listening. I tell him that we have the dog network now because it's on, what is it?
Sling.
Yeah. And so that's pretty much what we leave it on. The kids love it. We'd never watched it before, and the kids absolutely love it. And it's a family friendly show in a weird way, and it teaches them about how not to be in life.
Yeah, it's got the cautionary tales, And I love the strategy stuff that he does, like how he works his angles and things. So it's, I understand. We didn't know anything about him. After watching some of it, it's like, okay, I get it. I get why people are excited about this guy. So it's, that is funny though.
Okay. Sorry.
Really funny.
Sorry. I'm reading all the different stuff. Sorry. All right. I love those emojis. Yeah, me
too.
Yeah. And I think I'm right that we want to light up the whole nation green. That's the idea.
Is Don B here too?
Is Don B here? Don B, I hope you are staying safe.
Yeah, right.
I have you've been on my mind today, and I hope you're staying safe.
Yeah. So it's
I think Don's had some stuff going on too.
He has.
Wait, I don't see him. I'm not doing good with chat
he's
tonight.
the most recent chat, actually.
Oh,
very bottom.
Well, Don says FBI now investigating and stalking cyberbullying. Hope to see charges soon.
So
oh my stars.
Well, good. I hope there's some resolution there. That this shouldn't be this way.
Oh, Karen sent this. Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. I'll put it up. I'll put it up. You keep talking.
So this is just a thought I'd had on all of this overall. That a lot of what's going on with the targeting of people, the really over the top, real life harassment, and all that, where it's not just covering the case anymore. It's just about cruelty and sadism, right? I think the only way it's really going to stop ultimately is when a lawsuit comes against Google. I think that's ultimately what will happen. And unfortunately, I don't know that they're going to preemptively take care of it. They should be shutting this kind of thing down now, because they have policies against the cyberbullying and all that stuff. They just don't enforce any of it. But eventually, something terrible is going to happen to someone in real life, where someone was brainwashed into hating some other creator.
It has happened.
But then somebody's going to bring the lawsuit, and they're not just going to sue the creator. They're going to take Google to task for it. So eventually, that's going to what happens. And that's the only way it's ever going to change, is when they have to pay the piper to someone. And then they'll put in policy, unfortunately. I wish they would do it proactively, but I don't. They haven't yet, so there's no reason to believe they will. But some kind of lawsuit like that makes them hurt and feel the pain, I think, is the only way it's going to change.
All right, so we have a new visual announcement. Well, Don, I hope you're staying safe out of the weather and out of any people following you or bullying you.
Yes, for sure. That's awful. So this is the vigil coming up. So I know a lot of you wanted to go to the last one and weren't able to do it. It's at the same location, and
I'm gonna try to make it bigger. I'm gonna take us off the screen.
Yeah, so November 9th, 2 p.m.
Let me take Don's thing down so we can see it better.
It's all written a little bit differently, actually.
I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna zoom in a bit.
I like the pitch on it. We warmly invite everyone in the community and surrounding to a ride followed by a prayer vigil for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian was last seen on February 25th, 2024 in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. This is a time to raise awareness, bridge our differences, and embrace the power of prayer. Motorcycle, Jeeps, and all vehicles welcome. The ride is at 2 p.m. Kickstand's up at 3 p.m. And this is at the Fallen Brewery. So it's the same location that they did the last vigil that we were able to go to. And then the prayer vigil will also be at the conclusion of the ride. And it looks like Jacob's
Audible's going to be there
Audible
again. And
there.
You know what? I just realized. I think I forgot to send him the footage from the last vigil.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a bad person.
You were supposed to send that?
Yes. I was supposed to. I think I just remembered that.
So his charity was great. He was working with that, and then the guys that run that Fallen Brewery were awesome too.
They were and that was a fun place to go.
Yeah, it's a cool little.
We brought our son who has autism with us, and he was having a ball playing with the games and stuff. And he had a nice place to walk around, which is great for us because he's always moving.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, yeah, we'll definitely put this up on our on our community page and all of our social media so you guys can see it. And that was going to be on November 9th at 2 p.m. And that's awesome. Oh, Don said we sure missed the bad weather here. Well, I thought you were up near where all the flooding is.
Is he East Tennessee or somewhere else? I'm not sure.
I thought he was up near Sevierville.
That's what I kind of thought.
Isn't that where a lot of it's a little bit north of him, isn't it? Well, I thought the Little Pigeon, was it Little Pigeon or Pigeon River that flooded?
Newport, wherever Newport, that's where they had the dam break. But it may not be that the weather was so bad. It's just, or not, the dam was the problem.
The dam was the problem. Oh, 20 miles from me got it bad. Okay, I understand. Oh, Sandy's coming back in town for October 10th. Sandy, I will not be in town on October 10th. I have had a vacation plan with my friends for a year. So, unfortunately. Newport and Unicoi. That's right.
That'll be another interesting date, that October 10th, because of
that will be
you'll have all those people back in a room together again. And of course, it's interesting. And and since we were talking about this overall perception and PR and everything, it's still incredible to me that they took her to court over this protective order. It was such a short-sighted misstep on their part, because just the public perception of going after a lady that's been advocating for your child every day, even if she suspects you being involved as a journalist and everything, and then later throwing her in jail on the day of your son's vigil. That kind of public relations is a nightmare disaster. So incredibly foolish.
And it's not, and again, I want to go with the fact that I know that we're all here on YouTube together, but we are in a YouTube bubble. When you close these computers or shut off these phones, the perception of the people out here is what matters.
Yes.
We're small. We're a small percentage compared to everyone else out here.
Yeah. The people invested in this on YouTube, or they're probably like 20,000 people or so that are 20 to 30,000 that kind of check in with it regularly. But that's also spread all over the globe. Some of it. I mean, there's people in Europe and Australia and everywhere watching this case. And so it's when you kind of dilute and think it's just such a tiny part of the population. We're in
a bubble.
But the people that watch that mainstream news and know Dog the Bounty Hunter and read the paper, those are the people that look at moves like that and just it makes them look crazy suspicious to have done that. So it was a huge misstep by them, PR wise.
Sandy, we met Sandy at court last time, and she's the one that was very sweet to us. She says, "But are we making a difference? I hope."
I don't know.
I actually think in a weird. Well, I'll tell you what I think it is that I think a lot of media looks to YouTube on what to cover.
They do.
And I think that, maybe our chats and things don't matter to them, but I do think the stories that get covered and the angles that get covered are often replicated on news stories, which is fine. Great. But I think, I also think there's a lot of people here too that, that are moved within our tiny YouTube bubble that are moved to do these things, to have vigils, to make flyers, to put out signs, to hand out flyers, to
do
search,
the green light bulbs,
to
and all
search.
that, yeah.
There's been a lot of people out searching lately. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
More the merrier. Keep searching. But I do think that this bubble can make a difference.
Right. I think more like the opinions within our
right.
bubble,
That's what I mean.
May not have as much of an impact as just the volume of awareness and action and everything, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing too is you just never know. Do you think of the example I hear all the time from others is the Gabby Petito was basically because of the social media awareness of her story. Somebody went and checked their GoPro when they'd been driving by. And even more recently, there was the kid that had schizophrenia in Michigan. I think he was 20 years old or 19 or whatever, had disappeared for 3 months. And then social media found him at a party in Florida. And I'm not off his medicine, someone with schizophrenia, so that was wonderful. So you don't know. We never know someone new here finding this channel or any other channel. They might have a piece of information.
Right.
We're
keeping, there's awareness. There's awareness about the child, keeping his face out there, keeping his information out there. It's all very important.
Anyone might have a piece of video or have seen something the night he disappeared and not realized it was important.
Right. That happens.
It happens.
That does definitely happen.
Yeah, so you just don't know. But you try, you keep trying and keep putting the flyers out there, and you just don't know what somebody may have seen.
Let's see.
I mean, a lot of the things about his disappearance in my opinion, appear sloppy.
Right.
Some mistakes were made. So these aren't perfect criminals. So I suspect that they've made other mistakes that we don't know about.
Hold on one second. And Deborah, thank you so much for your super sticker. Let's see what it is. Hold on. Oh, #1 fan. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to do a quick one.
Oh.
I want to show you that real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see. That just came through. Okay. Okay, now I've forgotten how to turn it off. There it goes. Okay. Thank you so much, Deborah. We appreciate you. That makes me feel good. Like I said, I'm going to cry. Okay, yeah. Let me put that up.
Is this the question here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
Friendly Snake, Mr. E. What source?
Okay.
What source can I quote for Seth being cleared by law enforcement, cleared by FBI? Is there a document? Please trying to spread the good news with sources. Law enforcement has not cleared him or anyone, but
you
they
might
also
want to explain that.
Yeah. So the only document you're going to find clearing him is his timesheet that they sent, which I think Bullhorn Betty put up on her community page.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see those documents, it shows that he was there during all the hours that Sebastian could have disappeared. So his alibi is rock solid, and it also has the so if anybody questions whether or not even that was authentic, which people kind of try to do that at first, it was sent from an attorney to his attorney. So you also would have two lawyers involved in some kind of fraud or something if you were faking these timesheets. So impossible, and both of those lawyers are real. So that's the best physical evidence that you have. But law enforcement, for whatever reason they have not cleared him. I've heard some people say in the past that they can't, but it's not true unless it's a Tennessee policy or a Sumner County policy, because we've seen other people get cleared in other cases in the past, like the Caleb Harris disappearance, which we followed.
Right.
We actually I probably got that story caught our attention, I think, because he was also without shoes. And it was not long after Sebastian went missing. So we had always kind of followed that story as well. Mm-hmm. Different circumstances and everything. But they ended up clearing the roommates. They cleared the Uber driver, which was probably the most suspicious of them all because his Uber food was still there from the delivery and everything. And so that was who everyone was wondering about. Mm-hmm. There was even someone like a boyfriend of someone that lived in the apartment complex
who was leaving.
Left in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. or whatever it was.
They cleared
to drive
all those people.
Several hours away, and they went out of their way to clear that guy too, because they did not want to have this undue suspicion on people that were cleared.
Right.
And so they can do it. At least they could in Texas, unless it's some kind of internal Tennessee policy. And we have speculated in the past that the reason they haven't is the Holly Bobo disappearance and unaliving, because they story
I'm sorry
that during that, which is a little over a decade ago, they cleared people that ended up being convicted, and so that we've kind of wondered if maybe that's why they say we're not clearing people anymore. So I don't know if that's true, but that's just kind of been our guess. RT to go. It would be great if DoorDash and all delivery services put a flyer out with each delivery.
Wouldn't that be a great idea?
Oh, I see. Like with some, yeah.
Were you not okay? Mr. E's getting sleepy. We're gonna have to wrap it up. He's starting to get in the. I can tell in his eyes that if we sit here much longer, he'll start nodding off.
I know. It's the hour for me.
Yeah. It's definitely. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
What's that?
Having DoorDash giving them flyers that they can give out with every meal.
Sure.
I mean, it would take a lot. I wonder if they would sponsor it.
Milk cartons and such that they used
to you remember the milk cartons? Yeah.
Because they only. Yeah.
That's a great idea. And then, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Okay, Mr.
Lady tit for tat. Side note: are zip up hoodies coming soon? And thank you for that.
I can't find zip up. You mean for the Crime Dogs merchandise? I think I can get zip up hoodies. I was looking for a fuzzy one that's more furry because I think that's what was requested, and I cannot find one that's like cozy. So I'm still looking for that. If you have a link though, you're very crafty. I would appreciate it. Thank
Interesting
you so
conversations
much.
going in the chat.
I know.
I have a hard time following it.
Thank you, Tit for Tat. I appreciate you. What?
Sam's pretty paranormal, nodded off, but she's grabbed some chips to wake back up.
Well, honey, we're about to nod off ourselves.
I know. I'm there with you. Actually, I'm probably at my limit too. But I hope this was an interesting conversation. I think I don't know. It's just kind of felt like I wanted to kind of make us all aware of how we might be manipulated in this case or in the future, and maybe
in life.
Yeah, I mean, it really applies to everything. It's everywhere. People are always trying to manipulate and persuade us, in politics and entertainment and true crime and everywhere. And so, if you're giving anyone a lot of your attention and time and your mental energy, it's possible they are manipulating or persuading you toward, and you just got to be on guard. You just got to question everything. Question people's motives and sources and all of that, and just be vigilant. That's what it comes down to, is basically being vigilant on the information that you take in, and cautious.
Cassie Rocco says we need a chat reader on panel. Actually, our chat reader is usually Aunt E, and she is not here with us tonight. And everybody's saying thank you. And you guys, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. You could have gone anywhere and you spent your time with us, and we appreciate that. And I think I just stole that from Justin.
Did you?
Sorry, Justin.
Listening to too much Justin.
Well, I mean, he does good work.
He does. He does good.
Anyway, well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. And I'm going to play our lovely song that I don't know. Our beginning song and our end song was made for us by Lady Tit for Tat, and we really appreciate her for that. And we appreciate all of our mods and all of our members. And I'm thinking, I haven't
and
cleared
subscribers.
And subscribers, of course. I've been thinking about this. Do you think we could do trivia maybe Sunday? Like maybe in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, for sure, afternoon.
Okay, well we'll see if you guys can do it Sunday in the afternoon. For our members, we'd like to do true crime trivia. Of course, Aunt E said she's getting the questions together, and I bet she has it. So
well, maybe we'll do it.
We might see later. But thank you guys so much for your time, and subscribers, moderators, people watching. We appreciate all of you. If you wouldn't mind to hit a thumbs up on your way out, we'd appreciate it. You all have a great night.
Thank you.
Oh, and I haven't said hi to Find Summer's Truth. Hi, Find Summer's Truth. Let's see. And I'm not even prepared. And I said, thank you. Have a good night. And I'm not even prepared. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Good night.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine